Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody all around the world, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise wherever you are. Clap it up. Get excited. We got so much to discuss on this edition of the Welch Report with a whole bunch of boxing reaction to the world of essentially rising stars that came about last weekend. We got Fundora decimating and destroying the likes of Keith Thurman and knocking him out. We got most of the Itauma coming through and putting everybody in the heavyweight division on major notice that this man is the truth. We got some announcements that got made. We got full-blown fights that are not confirmed. We got back and forth between Ryan Garcia and Terrence Crawford. We got a whole bunch of things that we got to delve into in the world of boxing and beyond in the greater landscape of the sports world. So we got a lot to talk about. So we're happy to be here with you all on today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you're having a wonderful afternoon on this Tuesday, and hopefully we can make your day a little bit brighter and a little bit better to make it even more enjoyable. And hey, stick around for the ride, because trust me, you are going to love it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yes, be a part of how the show in all the globe, and subscribe to us. Leave a like on the videos while you're here. Helps us to push out to the algorithm. Also, be sure to hit the notification bell, and please be sure to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can grow into a strong community, all self-sustaining, with you at the helms, helping to show everybody else around the globe that this is a place to be in all of social media. No question about it. We appreciate you all being here. And if you want to support the channel, hey, shameless plug, we got to do it. We got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description. Super chats, super gifts, stickers, and the like. If you can't support the channel, you want to give some money while you're talking about how you feel, you want me to delve in some extra on whatever you want to talk about, hey, feel free to throw me some dough my way. It helps us to make this channel even better and stronger and more entertaining for you all, and helps me to pay the bills on my side of the spectrum. But please, just if you can't, just keep on chatting, just keep on responding. We want to hear from you in all regards of a reaction to everything involving the boxing world and the sports world at large. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got boxing to cover, we got sports to delve into, we got debates to be had, and we got fun to be enjoyed. So with all that being said, it is time for us to talk boxing. It is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway. And I've been waiting to talk about this for a long time. Also, we got people in the chat already. Like with Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. Also, you say Charlo lost his mind. Well, look at man, Charlo's been doing a whole bunch of stuff. The last thing I heard about Charlo was he got in some altercation in a hotel lobby, and then was going off on social media afterwards, still calling out everybody under the sun. So something new has transpired. I don't know. I will say that if something else is going on. But my gosh, we're going to talk about it later on. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, you talking about him getting called out by Fundora? Yeah, we are definitely. Yeah, he's crazy, and we definitely gonna talk about it. And in fact, we might as well jump into the biggest thing of the day, which is Sebastian Fundora and his win up against Keith one-time Thurman. And Keith Thurman, hey buddy, you tried. Lord knows you tried, but that towering inferno done took you out. Oh yes, it did. Yes, it did. As we transition into the first topic of discussion, Sebastian Fundora absolutely destroyed the head, the face, and the all-around potential comeback career of Keith Thurman. This man went and decimated one of the former stars and foundational pieces of the last era in the welterweight division, and completely separated himself. Mind you, we were saying that the wily veteran, the 35, I think he's 36 years old, and just Keith Thurman, looked like he had more than in the tank when he had fought against Brock Jarvis. We were saying he may be able to do something more. He may be able to look like something worthwhile, but I did pick Fundora to knock him out, and I got it right. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, I did. I got it right. I'm a bad man. Yes, I did. I'm a bad man. I think I even called it in less than 6 rounds, rather than thinking less than 8 rounds. As I'm drinking my coffee real quick, I think I called it in less than 8 rounds. If I didn't, I called it a knockout, nothing less, or unanimous decision. It was more than just a knockout. It was a destruction job. This was one of the best performances I've seen from Sebastian Fundora. As a whole, better than the fight he had with Tim Tszyu in the second time out. It is, and the reason why is because of the way that he fought. He made Keith Thurman turn black and blue. Swelled eyes, swollen lip, cut up. I mean, just beaten down. The worst beating we have ever seen Keith Thurman taking his entire career. And he's going up against some real heavy hitters and some dominant threats in his time. The worst he's ever been beat. By far. By far. And finally, we knew what made this so much more exciting. He did all of that off of his jab. If you watch the fight again, if you break down the fight, we went and did all of this off of the base weapon that we've been saying he didn't use a lot in his early career, in his rise to this towering inferno dominance that we talk about him as right now. And that is the fact that working from behind, working from a jab, and so I'm trying to get something off my glasses, but working from behind his jab, working from that 80-inch reach that can go across the ring. He was able to do that sublimely, and he did it flawlessly, and it was the biggest thing that kept not only his offense flowing, but negated just about everything that Keith Thurman wanted to do. Mind you, if you were watching the live with us, and everybody who tuned in to the live stream with us on Saturday night, we appreciate you coming in and coming out. Hey man, y'all were wonderful. Y'all were great. Everybody who showed up for the live stream, we had over 2,000 people come through and be a part of our live stream over the weekend. We appreciate you all. Had a bunch of likes. We had a bunch of new subscribers. I think I had 6 people subscribe to the channel. We had a blast. We had so much fun, and y'all were absolutely spectacular in you all's performances as an engaging chat. And hopefully I made it exciting for you all. I'm still looking for my first contract of $80K for the likes of the PBC or the ring. I don't care who it is. Y'all say I deserve it, and doggone right, I want it. You better believe it. But but shameless self-promotion aside, if you were able to be here for the live stream, we would say this was incredible. This was phenomenal. It wasn't dead. And mind you, Thurman did land some good stuff. Thurman did land about 1 or 2 desperation shots that, okay, when he just said, I got to dig deep, I can't box with him, can't go in, I can't just try to duck in and out and score and move because I'm getting rope burned and I'm still getting tagged. I got to just go start swinging with the fences. He did it. But it was to no avail. This man, Fundora, absolutely demoralized Keith Thurman in a way we had never seen before. And this was a win that for a lot of people, even like the Terrence Crawford, if you saw over social media, this solidified, okay, we should see him currently as the man to beat at 154. We should. I strongly believe we should. That does not mean he's the best talent now. Be clear. There's a difference in those two statements. He is not the best talent at 154. No, I believe that's Boots Ennis as a talented fighter. But as in respect to who currently runs this division as the biggest wall, both figuratively and literally, in the sense of the perceived momentum, position, along with the titles, and the destructiveness that he's been running through this division, along with his improvement. He's got everything in a well-rounded sense for what his career has turned into. Okay, at this point in time, with the belts and his path to destruction, we should see him as the best 154 pounder in terms of he's the guy everybody else has to go through. Now, he can get beat. Yes, he can. Be clear, he can get beat. But I think he has earned that position of he should be the man to beat. Now, if we see Boots come along and take that title, we'll call it. And we know it. But again, that's what it is right now. And this win was valid enough to show, brother, you literally did what Thurman said you needed to do. If this next generation wants to say that they got this whole game on lock, they got to kick me out of it. Brother, he wanted to kick you out. He threw your butt out the door like Debo. That's what he did. He threw your butt out the door like Debo. Completely. Because they threw you out like Uncle Phil threw out Will Smith in The Fresh Prince. That's what he did to you. And it's got people saying you should retire. Got people saying you should be fighting it. Got me thinking that, hey, you do look old. You do look gone from the perspective of the normal talent that we thought you would be able to bring, and the call to a former prime that you used to have that we thought you could still bring out of you in this type of situation. But no, the young lion was just too ferocious, too big, too strong, literally too dominant for you to deal with. And now you are bumped back down the card, understandably, into where should we view Keith Thurman at? Probably around the Tim Sues, probably around the Errol Spencers, and probably around the Charlos at this point in time at 154. I would say that's a fair assessment. But let me see what you all got to say, because I don't want to go on too rambling. I still got stuff to say about the fight, but I want to make sure I can cover you all and your thoughts and responses on today. Let me see. Moon Man, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show with us on today. We are so happy that you are joining with us on our show today. What's happening? They left Keith Thurman looking like, that's what he did. It's like, looking like the buddy from the Goonies. It made him look, it made him look like a bygone era. And this is crazy. It made him look. It wasn't a situation where other people, okay, their age just kind of, they were trying, but they just couldn't do anything like we saw with Manny Pacquiao. This was a situation where Keith Thurman just legitimately got bumped so far down the respected list of this division. Not that his career isn't something to respect, but I'm saying his competitiveness completely got thrown out the window against anybody else off of this one performance. That's how bad Keith Thurman beat him. I mean, that's how bad Fundora beat him. He beat him senseless. He still had the same level of constant destruction, winning on the inside, relentless pressure, great stamina, heavy-handed power, and he's able, again, I emphasized this when we were talking on the live stream. The brother's back foot, in terms of Sebastian Fundora, his back foot never left the center of the ring, yet he was pushing Fundora, or he was pushing Thurman to the ropes the entire night. His back foot was never outside of that DraftKings logo. Yet he was pushing Keith Thurman all the way to the ropes and to the corner and trapping him without ever leaving the center of the ring. It's preposterous what he's learned to use his size and length as when it comes to a pressure fighter. And it's insane. Like, this brother is a bad man. He is a towering inferno. He burns up anybody in sight in any surrounding area. He's a burning building that, again, the firefighter that was supposed to be Keith Thurman, he couldn't put out. He was trapped. He got trapped in the fire. That's literally what happened to Thurman. He got trapped in the fire. Keith Thurman got trapped in the fire, and he could not escape for the life of him. Now, I don't want to hear no doggone thing, well, this brother, it was just getting good. The fight was just getting good. Brother, he was going to knock you out if he kept on going. You would probably been probably gonna go to the hospital for more severe injuries than you would have. And this fight kept on going. You had no defense for what was coming at you. You were getting rocked about 3 or 4 times, subsequently back to back. Before that stoppage took place, you were wobbling around the ring everywhere. Everybody was on their feet because you looked like you were ready to go 5 times over. This was not a bad stoppage, but you lost, and you were going to get put to sleep or forever changed. For your own protection, you better be glad that ref stepped in, because it was about to get bad. It was already getting bad. And mind you, it wasn't even the halfway point. We had Burr coming in here talking about he's going to take him into deep waters. It wasn't even past the halfway point. Deep waters was coming in round 7 and on. Because there was still a whole second half of the fight left, and you were looking like this by round 6. Good gosh, man. It's bad. Because in that fight, you just got outclassed. Straight up. And you couldn't do a thing. But let me see. Sejo got a win on foul. Yeah, hold on, before I even read the chat. But Truth, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. We appreciate you on the live. Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta make sure I stay lubricated real quick, because We want to make sure that I'm not going to my voice getting scratched. Trying to take a little bit better care of the vocal cords. We're a professional show. We got to take some professional help. You know what I mean? But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Fundora at 154 is unfair. Nobody in that division can see him. A lot of people are saying this same sentiment. We got to be real about this now. When we're looking at the landscape of 154, yes, I just said that I feel he should be seen as the man to beat. Right now, holding 2 of the 4 belts in this division. I think, no, I'm sorry. I told you all wrong. I believe I told you all wrong yesterday. It is Zayas that has 2 belts. It is Josh Kelly that has 1 belt. And it is Sebastian Fundora that has 1 belt. So I apologize for that miscommunication of the title list last time we were on stream. Fundora has 1 belt. Zayas has 2 belts. Josh Kelly has 1 belt. Then collectively, that's what makes up the 4 major sanctioning bodies of this division with the 4 belts that are outside of the ring. That counts as that 5th belt in this whole 154 area. So, my fault on that. But the point still stands. Spudder's a menace. Spudder's a dog. And he's facing names in the process. People are saying this man can't be beat. I'm telling you this, like I said yesterday, like I said Saturday, the short list of Fundora in terms of who can beat him now has gotten a whole lot shorter. The division of who's the best at the top just got separated with this win. It did. It really did, and it deserves to happen. It deserved to happen. The best of the best just got even more separated away from a talent perspective and from a championship perspective. And the list of people that can beat Fundora just got a whole lot shorter. Fundora, yes, we've said he can be vulnerable. People are still harping on the fact that Brian Mendoza knocked him out and he's going to be able to beat him. I'm going to tell you this. Brian Mendoza doesn't beat this version of Fundora that uses his length even more judicially and a lot smarter. He doesn't beat this guy. Not this time. Those mistakes aren't nearly as easy to capitalize on anymore. And amongst the others, yeah, sure, Boots, Ortiz, names that everybody's going to say, yeah, they can beat him. They want to see Ortiz versus Fundora for a title. I would love to see that fight. Ortiz versus Boots for a title. I would love to see that fight. Ortiz versus Zayas for a unification. Not Ortiz, I'm sorry. Fundora versus Ortiz, Fundora versus Boots, Fundora versus Zayas, excuse me. Those 3 fights and others I would like to see. But who can beat them? Those 3 names I named maybe can. But then outside of that, it's hard to say who else can get there. Chuck is hard to say he can beat him. Adams is hard to say he can beat him. Majimov, it's hard to say he can beat him. This is difficult. This is really difficult. There's a new respect for Sebastian Fundora now for a lot of people after this win, and justifiably so. Justifiably so. So it's a real hard thing to realize. I mean, the last thing was lit. No doubt, yes, it was. Again, we had a phenomenal time calling you all calling everybody on the stream. Let me see. Virgil, Mike, KO, Fundora. He can. Oh, absolutely he can. He can, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. The perception that Fundora is simply, oh, you can catch him the same way like Mendoza. We can't have that anymore. We have to now respect, okay, this height isn't just a gimmick anymore. This length that he has in reach, it isn't just a gimmick. Oh, he's 6'5", and he's got an 80-inch reach, and he's 175. Oh, that's preposterous. He is unfair in this division. That's what it feels like. It's a helpless sentiment because it feels like you can't do anything with him. Mind you, now that he's actually using the jab a lot more, but the very essence of his limbs had now turned into his own defense system. Because of the fact that when he's actually throwing, he's so long that he's able to, even as he's pulling back, his arm's still getting in the way of whatever shot you want to throw. And you're throwing from so far out because he's keeping you at such long distance that you're like, okay, he can actually perceive what's coming at him. And he ain't got to do but so much as this. Just way back, you probably couldn't even see it on screen. Why? Because it's so subtle. But he's 6'5", so he can do that. Not to mention, the buddy destroyed Thurman when they did get on the inside. Even in the game where you need to fight him close quarters, break some windows, attack the body, do all the things against the taller fighter. Guess what? His entire career from the start up until this point was, I'm boxing on the inside. I'm throwing uppercuts and hooks. We getting down and dirty. We are going to go through and push pedal to the metal and work our way in the trenches with whatever height I'm dealing with. No matter how short you are, I will bend my knees and I will throw uppercuts right there with you. And we're going to see who can get the better of it. And oftentimes he got the better of it every single time. He's getting the tools of an outboxer, more adapted with his game. And he still has the tools of an infighter that he came in with his entire career. It's a hard cat to beat. It's a hard cat to beat. I get why people are saying, but I don't know who can beat him. I still think there are people that can, but that list is a lot shorter. And even amongst those, that fight is going to be a whole lot harder. So what I said Saturday, the fight between him and the other best stars in this division, you can say he'll lose if you feel that way. But you have to say concisely, it is not nearly as easy for you to look at him versus Boots or Zayas or Madrimov or Ortiz or anybody amongst that top 5 to 10 and say, hey, they're going to just get him out of there and no problem. No, they're going to have to go through some fire. They're going to get burned a little bit, a lot potentially. And it can get very dangerous very quickly. Let me see. I believe it's safer for Boots to go up and wait rather than to fight Fundora. Now, I'm not saying that now. Hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. No, he needs to fight. He needs to fight him. In fact, we're going to talk about Boots in a little bit on this show because Boots just had the official announcement of him versus Zayas being confirmed. In fact, we can actually do, well, I'll save it, but we'll talk about the reactions to that fight officially being done like we have reported on this show June 27th. Hey, I broke some news. Like I said, this is the best place to be. I told y'all. We got our sources. We said that's what was going to happen. And if it did come true, hey, great. And look at what happened. We got it right. But even still, we got the reporter that got it right. So we good. We good. We gained some traction. But even still, he does need to fight him. Don't duck that smoke. Because if you want to go out there undisputed like you say, he's still a dog. Ortiz, if you still want to be the top dog in this division, you still got to get him. Everybody has to go through him. And they have to. Now, they're better than Thurman. But it's still, the test is the same, if not better now. Because now Fundora got confidence. He got confidence and he's adapted. And even just, like with Ryan Garcia, one simple tool that has been added to his game has changed the entire dimension to what it's like to fight him. That's the jab. And yeah, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a real problem. Let me see. I got Fundora KOing Virgil. That jab is too much. That jab right now is as much of a multi-purpose tool as we've seen in the wheelhouse of Fundora, and it's incredible. Also, Buck Crawford, what's going on with the chat? What's going on? How you doing? Gracing us with your presence yet again. I saw you had a back and forth with the likes of Ryan Garcia and a couple other people on social media. Hey, man, you open up to all questions. Hey, I get it, but now it's only egging us on to want to see you come back in the ring. But again, that's a whole other conversation. But let me see what you got to say. Let me see. Heads up, John. I don't know if One Piece fan or not, but the recent manga. Okay. Thank you. I'm still catching up to that show. I'm still catching up with the manga and the show. So thank you. So I can make sure I can avoid some spoilers before I get there. My preacher, they got the MU face reveal. Oh, we're in the end game. I'm sorry, I'm a One Piece fan. If they're doing that, we're about to be in the end game. We're about to, we're about to be in the end game now. Gosh. Don't show me. Don't reveal it to me. I want to make sure I find out for myself. But my gosh, the pace is picking up. We in the end game of this whole saga of adventure that we've been on for almost 30 years, just about. It's 1999, I believe. Ridiculous. Insane. Oh shoot. Yeah, can you save it with me so I can make sure I find that for myself? Let me see. What about Macau Fox versus Fundora? No, Fox destroys him. Fox destroys him. I'm sorry. Fundora destroys him. Fox ain't ready for that. Fox is not ready for that. At 6'4", 6'5", Fox has the height. He's got the length. He's nowhere close to ready for that. Nowhere close. He couldn't even give Thurman the semblance of productivity of what we were going to see Fundora do when he trained with him. Fox is a good young fighter, but he ain't ready for that. He definitely ain't ready for that. It's more than just the height of him. It is the ability of him. The legitimate, we got to start calling because he's broken faces a good chunk a couple times. That same or similar level of bludgeoning power. He's a bludgeoning puncher. He's a face breaking. He is a fatigue inducing. He is a energy sapping fighter. Everything about him turns into, if he lands on you, it's long lasting effects. A compounding of aggression leads to a compounding of damage. And the stuff that looks light, like his jab, it ain't light. We were saying he wasn't even throwing his jab hard, and we saw the damage it was doing. We saw the uppercuts that looked like he was just flicking his arm up. Next thing you know, it's knocking Thurman's head back. Like he's got deceptively quick hands. He can throw punches in close quarters quicker than you expect. He's an adamant counterpuncher on the inside if you give him an opportunity, like we saw when Thurman was on the ropes and trying to land, and we were seeing him get caught with uppercuts and hooks or straight rights off of misses. And Thurman was like, I didn't expect this type of speed, nor identification of this is the window I can hit. Yeah, no, Fundora's a menace. He's a monster. He's a bludgeoning force. And he's doing that. I'm not comparing the fighter, but the same bludgeoning effects that we see Dave Benavidez have on people, that we've seen Errol Spence have on people. He has that same capacity of damage in him. He does. He's not as powerful, but we see the effects of what he does when he fights against people. It's apparent. Something's there. And it's dangerous. It's really dangerous, man. This cat, he's exciting. And for Thurman, not gonna lie, if you don't fight Spence or Charlo or who's the other brother? Spence, Charlo, Sue, around that level, I don't want to see you in the ring anymore. Strictly because I don't think you got it anymore to compete against anybody amongst this top 10, top 15. You don't have get the Spence fight, but I don't know if you have enough to sustain yourself against these other young cats and young dogs. Without this whole division, like I said, this division is a division. If you're competitive, you'll be right in there with the fire with everybody else. But if you're not, this division will spit you out. Because there are no lack of killers in this division. Everybody can crack. Everybody can punch. Everybody can take you out. If you are not on their level, quick and in a hurry. Quick and in a hurry. And that's what just happened to Thurman. That same performance against Thurman would happen if Thurman fought against everybody else in this division that we've been talking about in a high regard or even in the average regard. If you don't fight Spence and or Sue and or Charlo, I don't want to see you in the ring anymore because I am scared you're going to get this type of damage done over and over and over again. This is dangerous. Yes, it's a 6'5" guy going up against somebody 5'7", 5'8". Yes, it was a 10-inch reach difference, but even with that, the pace of Thurman looked slower. The footwork of Thurman looked like somebody who had been out the game for 3 years and only had one fight back. The thought of Thurman being able to turn back the clock, okay, we can't buy into it anymore. This is who Thurman is, even against anybody else that isn't Sebastian Fundora. Sure, he'll have an easier time landing on them because they're not 6'5", maybe. But everything else about Thurman is showing he's a step behind. And in this division, if he feels overwhelmed like we saw in that fight with Fundora, hey man, them eyes are going to get mighty wide. That face is going to look mighty concerned. And that, I'm not going to call it fear, but that confidence is going to wane very quickly. And you take away Thurman's confidence, you take away about his entire game. As we know what type of fighter he is. You take away that confidence, you take away his game. That's how it works. You take away his confidence, you take away his game. And that's exactly what Fundora did. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Itauma looking dangerous. He will be better the more he fights. He might be the evolution of the heavyweight fighter. He very much could be. And again, we're about to change gears and going into the next segments of the show on our thing. So we do want to make sure that we keep on pace. We're trying to have better pacing on the show. We're trying to be a little bit more respectful of the time. So I'm not drowning on, and y'all can still be entertained as much as possible. So we're gonna go into the next topic of discussion of this segment. But one last thing about the Fundora conversations, and before we switch to Moses Itauma, Boots and Virgil, or Boots and Zayas getting announced, and all those other topics. Fundora. Don't be surprised if we get to a point where the ultimate clash has been Boots versus Ortiz for undisputed. If it can become apparent, everybody, that's the big fight everybody wants to lead up to. Don't be surprised if Fundora maybe gets an upset on one of them. Potentially Ortiz. And he ends up being the final boss going up against the quote-unquote main character that is Boots Ennis in the end game of this division for the undisputed titles. When it's all said and done, it could very well be Fundora. He beats Josh Kelly, he's got 2 belts. Boots beats Zayas, he's got 2 belts. Next thing you know, if Fundora fights Ortiz first and beats him, well, now he's the guy that it's like that's the climbing ladder you got to go through, and he could very well be the last man standing, or one of the last men standing in this roulette of a division. Which I'm excited for if that's the case. But even still, we're gonna move on and make sure that we keep this show going as we go into the next topic of discussion, which is, as some people y'all are even already touting on this show, or on this current segment, Moses Itauma going through in the division. Yes, indeed. Oh yes. If you didn't get to see what we had to offer, Moses Itauma absolutely decimated the likes of Jermain. I'm talking, this man is nothing short of amazing. I've been on my high horse for a mighty long time when it came to Moses Itauma. I was on this train early when it came to Itauma being the future of this division. I was on this train of Moses Itauma being looked at, rightfully so, as the next best man to run the whole gauntlet of the land of giants, that is the heavyweight regime. Some people said I was crazy. Some people said that Richard Torres was on a better trajectory. Some people said I was delusional in thinking that Itauma had the capacity to be this level of bona fide star. He's not tested. He ain't proven. He hasn't fought the requisite names. Oh, he hasn't gone deep in the gambit of later rounds. What the word are we talking about? Well, guess who he's in the conversations with now after knocking out the likes of Jermain? He's in conversations with Anthony Joshua. He's in conversations with AJ Caballero. And if he's in conversations with both of them, guess who else he's in conversations for? The one and only, the baddest man on the planet, the big kahuna to root them all, Usyk. He now should belong in all of those conversations of he is in that type of elite caliber. This is not because we were saying that Jermain Franklin was the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, we were saying if you can do to Jermain what every other one of the best punchers in this division, including Fabio Wardley, including Anthony Joshua, including Dillian White, and it is more relative close to prime, you can do to him what they couldn't do, and you do it flawlessly at that, and you dispatch him quickly. and you dispatch him destructively. Yeah, you beating that type of gatekeeper in that type of way brings you on a threshold of greatness that we have to be all serious. This isn't common. And this is above the norm of what we see with the rest of the prospects and even the elite talent surrounding this division right now. He belongs there. And if you don't believe he does now, I don't know what to tell you except for, man, you missing out. You missing out on the ride, because this brother is the truth. And if you didn't get to see the knockout yesterday, or if you didn't get to see the knockout over the weekend, hey, man, I'll show you exactly what you missed. Because when we talk about power, we talk about destruction. When we talk about damage incurred, we're talking about a menace of a man in Moses Itauma. This man is ridiculous in every sense of the word. And it's preposterous what he's able to do on a night-to-night basis, because he is flat out spectacular, and I mean that in the greatest way possible. Good gosh, also hope I don't get no copyright for this sound, but either way, we're going to try to play it and risk it for the biscuit.
Slightly less from the amount. Moses Itauma magic in Manchester, and it is done as quick as a flash.
That is what we are experiencing when it comes to Accountment. And it's not just power. Again, he did something that this man right here, Fabio Wardley, couldn't do when he spars with Jermain Franklin countless times. We're seeing somebody with a level of power amongst the elites of the boxing world, with the footwork also looking better than just about everybody else in this division from a perspective of mobility, with an IQ that is well and good, vastly beyond his years, incorporating feints, incorporating different dimensions of getting opponents to bite, making opportunities as well as looking for counter windows. He's able to open his own door as well as let the opponent open the door for him. He's smart. He's calculating. He is speedy. He's one of the faster heavyweights in this division. Do you understand what Moses Itauma is at this point in time? I want you to imagine Big Bang Jang if he had all that power, all of that knowledge, again, because he's a very good fighter, very good defensively and offensively. I want you to imagine all of that we see with Big Bang Jang, but he was lightning fast and could move. That's what Itauma is. That's what Itauma is. There's more to it than that. That's about the biggest fear that we can have of Moses Itauma. He's the height and size of Usyk, but he carries the power of a Big Bang Jang, and at the same time, without any of the lack of stamina, seemingly lack of stamina issues, as well as a similar level of high fight IQ. The fastest hands, some of the fastest hands in this division, like what Andrew Ruiz used to have back in the day. Feet that can jump around and move, get out of dodge quick, patience, and legitimate eye for catching openings. Defense that he's able to actually slip and avoid on the inside, and outboxing. He ain't got the longest arms in the world, yet he's still able to control distance in a sublime way. He's got everything you would want. He's got power to boot to where you can argue he right now is one of the top 5 biggest punchers in this entire division. In Atlanta Giants, he's ridiculous, man. He literally.
And he floats like a butterfly and hits like a tree.
That's what he is. That's what he is. That is exactly what he is. He is a combination of the worst or of the best aspects of all of some of the best quality fighters in the standpoint of those who have this elite bar in certain regards. He's got all of those things combined into one. And again, I'm not glazing or talking about this because Franklin is all that in a bag of chips. It's because Franklin is a test that, again, people beat, but either they've looked somewhat decent, or he's giving them a good fight, or they just couldn't put him out. And now you've done something on all 3 levels that has surpassed every single one of the other top starters' performances against this same guy. And this doesn't mean that you're better than Usyk or better than Anthony Joshua as a whole, but we're saying this in a direct comparison puts you in a conversation that you should have been in a long time ago, in my opinion. But now everybody's seeing it. Okay, when we talk about heavyweight champions. Yeah, it can happen quick. Like I said, I told y'all it could happen in less than 2 years. I said it could happen in less than 2 years. And right now, he is on that road to be looking like it can be happening in less than 2 years. He really can. AJ Caballero is not that hard of an opportunity. It's not that lofty of an opportunity to now think about that. He's even brought it up. And so Max Kellerman and them on inside the ring, they bringing it up. The public's starting to say, hey now, this man is something serious if we're bringing him up with those conversations. And then again, if you're bringing him up with AJ, you can bring him up with Usyk as a credible contender. You can say he can't beat Usyk right now, but you can't say he doesn't belong in that same vicinity. Right now, I believe he does. I do believe he does, absolutely. No question about it. Let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Because he is incredible. He is phenomenal. Listen, Moses versus any other current heavyweight could be an interesting demolition job. Also, Al Booker, what's going on with you? Hey, don't be afraid. Hold on. We're glad that you're here. We appreciate you along for the ride. Legendary Super Saiyan, I didn't say hi to you as well. Hi to you. Hello to you. How you doing? We appreciate you on the live. And you're right. It would be a very interesting thing. And now the question belongs to who's next for Itauma in this current point in time. I even told you before, we're getting reports of people insinuating, hey, Moses versus Anthony Joshua may be a real, actual opportunity to face off. Because in fact, I think even Moses Itauma brought that up himself in conversations with the likes of Ariel Wani when he had an interview with Ariel. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And when I find the clip, I'll play it for you to be able to hear. But that could be a legitimate, 2 fights down the line. We get Anthony Joshua going up against Moses Itauma. And wouldn't that be something to witness? Even, let's say now, with this win, we can look at him as a potential top 10 level fighter, which I'm all for. Guess what that means? Martin McCauley. Perfect person to go and fight against. If we wanted to have some proof that he was somebody who was of that ilk of quality fighter, put him up against Martin McCauley. Give him one of the biggest imposing figures in this division and let me see what he can do. And if he can pass that test in the same way that he's passed all these other tests, because again, McCauley is legitimately seen as a world level contender on the level of F.A. Jogba, who is currently his I guess we can call him rival to some degree. And that makes sense. More than just making sense, it's like that is logically, that seems like the next step up. Him versus a Martin McCauley, an F.A. Jogba level fighter. Gassiev, a fighter who currently holds the WBA regular title. I believe he's ranked number 1 in the WBA. So that would be a fight that also could make sense. This is the jump that we want to see him really push. We can see him push. But everything's viable because this buddy, he's the truth. He's the truth, no question about it. Let me see. Moses is legit top 15 or time for top 15. But who will he fight? Who will fight him? I mean, at this point in time, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. Mind you, we are. This KO has put him in a unique situation because he's already ranked highly by other sanctioning bodies. He has the press of the public wanting to see more of him, even though he's a legitimate threat. He's getting comparisons to Mike Tyson from the destructive level, and you gotta see this guy. I'm not saying that he's on that level. I'm saying that the type of train of marketing is being put towards him. He can bring you some money. He can bring you some money now. If anything, if you want to put him to where he gets shown whether his medal is or not, because we know what people say, you ain't nothing until you fight in the States. Well, have him fight in the States early. You want to make him worthwhile to where you entice more people to come through. Give him a fight in America. Give him a fight in America. I'm not saying he needs it. I'm saying to expedite this question or expedite this answer of, is he too much of a risk for people to fight? Show that he's a draw in the States. Put him on an undercard, a come-in event of a big-time fight. Later on in the year, he gets a knockout. He gets a victory. Everybody looks at this man as the greatest thing since sliced bread. even more fervently, and now we get ourselves a great fight between maybe him and Richard Torres. Hey, wouldn't that make sense? Richard Torres needs to get some shine. Richard Torres needs to get some growth. Richard Torres is the same, is one fight lower than, or I think one fight higher, or has one more fight or one less fight than Moses Itauma. He's a silver medalist. He's a buddy who's been to the Olympics. He's a man who is also seen as one of the other rising stars in the heavyweight division. Well, you might as well put them together, because at this point in time, hey, he ain't got a bunch of shine either, and he needs something. Put them together. Let them fight. I would love to see that. And do y'all get what I'm saying now? When I was saying that he's way better than Richard Torres, I was saying he's way better than Richard Torres. And I got some pushback. And I understood, because I respected Richard Torres, but it was the momentum of his individual talent as it has evolved that I was doubting comparative to Itauma and his very much forward-moving evolution. At this same age, he's looking well beyond it in terms of thinking the game better than others. Not just knockout power. It's thinking. The thinking process of him as a fighter is way better than even the best, even some of the best at the top 10. I can't say that for Richard Torres. If they got into the ring with each other, I am all but assured he's knocking Torres out in about 7 rounds. He's doing it. He's knocking him out in 7. He's knocking him out in 7 rounds. If they ever fought against each other. Torres is nowhere close to Moses Itauma. He's a good fighter. He's nowhere close to that. Nowhere close. And if we want to get that shine for Itauma, put him in with Torres. If Torres wins, shocks us all, he takes that shine from Itauma, and now he's the man that everybody says, my gosh, this brother's a monster. But they both need the rub from each other to get elevated into, we want the big names getting in the ring with me. Gonna make it happen. I wouldn't be mad at seeing it. But let me keep on reading what you all gotta say. He might be the scariest heavyweight on the planet. At this point in time, he's the most dangerous. And this is exactly what I wanted to happen. Because we touched on this the day before the fight. Why this knockout was important for Jermain Franklin. I'm going to touch on, let me read the chat real quick. And I'm going to retouch on why I had actually said he was, or he is, the fear we've been needing in this division. Let me read Crawford's chat first. Maybe I should start my own stable on this day here, but Promotions. It's a Frenchie sport. Well, look, man, I appreciate it, but you already got. I think you're already working with some. Maybe you can try to steal away Shakur from Bob Arum and get him under your wing. And hey, I would love to see that. And you can probably bring up a pretty decent stable if you did choose to go your way. I would love to see it, and we'll be watching nonetheless. But with Moses, what I touched on last time we were here, I think it was Friday. It was either Friday or Thursday. I said that this knockout for Moses was so important because if he got the knockout, he would get the thing that made Deontay Wilder, George Foreman, Mike Tyson, Sonny Liston. He would get that type of it factor on his career that would propel him even further. And that it factor, or that X factor, was fear. Since Deontay Wilder has turned into a bronze statue in his career, we haven't had a vaunted, feared fighter. Usyk is respected. And it's still like, hey, you can't beat him. You can't touch him. But the way that we look at him isn't out of a sense of fear. We look at him out of a sense of respect. Some people it's reverence. Pride in all its forms in a good way. And this isn't disrespect. Now, he's still a killer. Don't get me wrong. He's still a killer. He's still a monster. He will still strike fear in you in the ring. And you don't want to get in the ring with him. You sure enough don't. He's the best heavyweight in the world. That's gained power. That's cracked the chin of one of the most enduring fighters in Tyson Fury. Undisputed champion 2 times over, has cleaned out the entirety of this division. There is nothing I can say against Usyk. But the perception of Usyk is different than the perception of Wilder. Wilder, it was fear. Usyk, it was respect. Fury, it was charisma. When it comes to Itauma, the threat of a young fighter was excitement. But now the threat amongst the heavyweight regime is fear. Because Wardley just saw him handle somebody that he's been in the gym with every day and he couldn't put him out. Usyk just saw somebody who was coming through and looking like a menace with some of his same skill sets, but with an even more elevated level of power. Tyson Fury already said, I don't want no part of that man. And this even further cemented that fact. We'll probably never see Tyson Fury and Itauma ever fight against each other. Most likely. There were people, or rather there were ripples around this division. Let me rephrase that. This fight sent ripples throughout this division. A shockwave to the masses. This is no longer just a young, exciting guy that can, he can be a great future potential fighter. His championship window is officially now. You have to face him at one point or another. You're getting brought up in the same conversation with him as a fighter that people want to see. You, IJ, you, Anthony Joshua, you, Usyk, Bakoli, F.A. Jagba, Diasov, all of you are. Joseph Parker even potentially getting talked. Fabio Wardley is getting talked about, getting conversations. We want to see Itauma against Wardley. You all are no longer just immune or away from the conversation of you got to deal with that. You're in it, and he's in it with you. And nobody wants to mess with that type of power, but he's becoming quicker than what we've expected, unavoidable for a lot of people, which normally takes a long time. But right now, when it comes to Itauma, that it's sped up. That process is sped up. He's a danger. He's a scary danger. He's a scary danger that one shot or multiple shots can end your night with power in both hands. Mind you, he didn't just knock out Jermain Franklin, he also knocked him down. And had him hurting to the body. Because that's why he started protecting downstairs. Similar to what we saw with Dillian White. When he got hurt to the body first, before he ever got hurt upstairs to the head. Fear. He's got fear. He's got a dark cloud of despair that hangs over him in this division. Not in a bad way. No, or rather not in a bad way for him, but in a bad way for everybody that looks at him. He is the storm that everybody sees is coming. He thrives. He is inside of the typhoon because it's his domain. But everybody else, they're dealing with they're dealing with the brunt of the attack when they first walk into this storm. They can't even make it to the eye. And now everybody has to deal with this hurricane that is sweeping through the division. And they've seen what it's done to people that should be able to at least stand up to the storm. Even if they get defeated, they'll be damaged, but they won't fall, and they're falling. Those types of reputations of people, they're falling to this guy. Jermain Franklin was a needed shock. And that very same feeling that we can get from Deontay Wilder when he was knocking everybody out, that's what we're getting with Itauma now. And to a degree, that's what this division missed for a lot of people if you talk to them. Where's the guy that is just a stone cold-blooded killer? Where's the guy that will just, a night could end on any note or at any point in time? People are scared before they step in the ring with them. The fear, the uneasiness, that pit of your stomach feeling, something bad's about to happen. Where is that? And now Itauma's bringing it. He's got it. This win gave it to him. This win established that in everybody's mind. And now this win's putting everybody on notice in the best way possible. Or the worst way, depending on how you view your position if you had to fight Moses Itauma. But even still, let me keep on reading what you all had to say. Moses versus AJ, who wins? At this point, I dare say at this point, it's 50-50. At this point, it's 50-50. Yeah, and I say it's 50-50 because I don't know. If it was the old Anthony Joshua that fought against Daniel Dubois in his last fight, Moses Itauma beats him. He beats him. He beats him. He beats him.
Hey, look at this.
He beats him. If it was that,
We got some problems here.
if it was that Anthony Joshua that fought against Daniel Dubois, he beats him. He destroys him. It is. I don't think it is close if that fight was to happen. And again, we bring that up because right now that fight is being looked at as legitimately possible. As you can see right here, and Moses Itauma is open to fight Anthony Joshua. If that's a fight to make, that's a fight to make. And it's via Ariel Wani when he was on an interview with him. So it's talked about. It's legitimate. Usyk said Anthony Joshua is going to be champion by 2027. He's going to mold him into the best version of himself yet again and turn him into a champion once again by then. By that same point in time, this is the man that's probably going to be standing in front of him. If that is what it takes to retool, most likely. And currently as it stands, Moses Itauma is better. Currently, as it stands, Itauma's better. I have no issue saying that right now. And this is not because of the experience. This is because we haven't seen the retooled AJ yet. If it was prime AJ, okay, AJ, fine. It'd be a closer fight than people may expect. I would say AJ would be the better fighter as a whole. But this is current day AJ. And current day AJ, before Usyk's change, or before Usyk's coaching, yeah, with the stuff that he had, with the problems that he had, yeah, a time would have handled it with ease. If Usyk does change him, we got ourselves a different fighter now. And so I don't know. I got to see what AJ looks like down the line, or rather in his comeback. Most likely 2 fights before I can see Anthony Joshua fighting against Itauma and saying what I feel AJ is going to be. But if it was today, AJ, in terms of pre-Usyk full-blown shift, and it was Dubois version AJ, yeah, AJ gets knocked out by him. AJ gets knocked out, and it's not even close. It's not even close. AJ gets knocked out by Itauma if it is old AJ that fought Dubois. But new AJ, I don't know yet. So we got to see how that goes up until we see him return to the ring. Afterwards, we could have a different conversation. And I hope it's better because I want to see AJ back at the top or close to the top of the mountain. I do. I really do. But we're going to have to find out to see what happens as he continues to evolve. We'll keep on talking and we'll keep on reacting. Let me see. Bird, what's going on with you? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate you on the live with us today. We appreciate all of you supporting and being on our show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Please keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing. One like does a world of difference to make this channel oh so special. And we want to hear from you all. Absolutely. Let me see. Fundora ain't beaten no Virgil Ortiz. And like I said, the fight, if you think that he's not beating him, perfectly fine. I still think Ortiz will be able to beat Fundora, but it's the fact that the fight would be more competitive now. Whole lot more competitive. The danger for Ortiz is a lot more substantial with this win against Thurman. This is not because Thurman's on the level of Ortiz. It's because we've now seen he will not give up that height advantage nearly as much. And so it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And you can get pressed to the point that you getting some issues. You getting some real issues dealing with this type of monster now if you are a shorter fighter. It's more than just a gimmick. It's reality. Because it's reality. We don't just take it with a grain of salt. We take it with some validity to it. But let me keep on reading. The thing about Fundora is he doesn't want any smoke with any of the good contenders in the division. Instead, he wants to fight Odin. Well, look, we're going to find out right now because now He's getting talked about as he should be the man to beat in this division. He's getting talked about not as the best talent, but as the guy that kind of has control over a lot of this division. He is the big wall that everybody's got to climb, figuratively and literally. That's how he's being talked about. So now it's going to have to be, most likely, amongst the other champions or top contenders. Josh Kelly, Ortiz, Madrimov, names like that. Or straight up the winner of Xander Zayas versus Boots. If he wants to go that route. I don't think he ain't fighting Tim. He definitely ain't fighting Tim Sue again. He did that twice. Charlo ain't even sniffing the title shot yet on anybody, let alone a contender shot. And Errol Spence would be the only likely name to get a elevated rise into challenging for a bigger throne because of his name, but he hasn't proven anything yet. And he could be on the same level as Thurman. I would argue he may be on the same level as Thurman. So, would they even want to risk that? Because people want to see Errol Spence win, not want to see him go down in the blaze of glory yet again. Most likely. At least until he's shown, okay, you do belong up there. So most likely it's going to be we get some bigger caliber names from the perspective of immediate in-prime talent. We should. And I do think that we will. I do think that we will. Let me see. Ortiz out the picture now, but he ain't beating no Ortiz. Is he out the picture for Fundora? Are you sure he's out the picture for Fundora? I mean, I know like the legal thing with the court and stuff, but I think Ortiz can still fight even with this whole court case situation, right? I think. Unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, correct. But like I said, we'll look it up as we go on throughout the show. But I believe he can still fight, and he can still get a shot at belts, even amongst this whole legal situation. I mean, Tank fought when he had a court date. And so I'm thinking, but again, I'm not exactly sure. At this point, take his belt. WBC is trash for making that fight, for not making the fight. The WBC is trash for not making the fight mandatory. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, it should have been mandatory. It should have been mandatory. I'm down for that. I have no issue with that. Yeah, I've had some problems with WBC and other sanctioning bodies. However, I do believe now Fundora will be taking on those names of the top caliber stars. I don't think there's any other choice. And he will probably want to capitalize on the biggest opportunities possible, with this being the most notoriety he's had probably since he's reached this zenith of, okay, he's a legitimate name. Similar to Zayas, you don't want to waste that momentum. And I don't think he will. But again, we'll see how he pans out as he continues to move through his career, and subsequently the decisions he makes after this win. We can criticize and say whether or not it's a right or wrong move. If he goes after Josh Kelly, I have no problem. If he goes after Ortiz, I have no problem. Anybody amongst that top five, I have no problem. If he gets another guy that is just not elevated from the standpoint of quality, okay, we got a problem. Because you should be fighting people that are about it, moving the same way that Zayas moves. That's what we want to see. But we'll find out. Because we right now, all we can do is just celebrate the win at this point in time. But we will indeed keep on discussing as time does go on. And so, but one more thing about Fundora. We're going to come back to the whole Thurman Fundora conversation. Let me say one more thing about Moses Itauma real quick before we move on to the announcement of Boots versus Zayas that got confirmed. With Itauma, this will be the last thing about Itauma. Moses Itauma right now is in position to have his opportunity to really reset the division, or rather finish off the job that we saw Usyk start. Usyk started the trend, or rather started the remapping of the thought for the public and for the division as a whole into what a heavyweight should be. Landed giant 6'6", 6'7", 6'5", over to 280, 260, 300 pounds in some situations. Big men going through and walking around the ring. Lumbering slow, all these other issues with the heavyweights where you're too big, you're literally too big to fail, but you fail all the time when somebody isn't as big. But normally, my power can sustain me to where I can get you out there before then. But now we're getting somebody like Usyk who beat the biggest of big and the best of the best while he was the smallest out here. Built more like Ali in the standpoint of his frame, which was tall then, but now, not nearly. Itauma's built in that same way, and he's doing this similar type of work. All of a sudden, this is another reminder. Oh, wait a minute. Itauma fights like a callback to the 90s and 80s and 70s from the perspective of what makes a great heavyweight. It's not just the power or he's so tall. It's the size of a big man with the talent of a small man. That's what made people like Floyd Patterson so revered. Mike Tyson so revered. Others, again, in the old heavyweight regime, Archie Moore, so revered. We've had so many people. Joe Frazier. Shoot, even George Foreman, even though he fought like a big guy. And he was a big guy. But the skill sets of those older eras in boxing in the heavyweight regime was more akin to those of middleweights, the 154 pounders, the cruiserweights and light heavyweights. It was just, you're that big, but you're still moving in this slick, not even slick, just better way as a whole. And it's hard to beat. Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, even though he was tall. This is what we got away from in the heavyweight regime. Now we're getting back to it. And Usyk started the journey. But we could see Itauma finish it. We could see him be the next standard bearer. And we get two people that are that size going in the heavyweight division. What did we say before on this show? The trends are followed from the people who are great. Whatever works is what is going to work for everybody else. That's how they think. That's how they do. Everybody fights like Floyd because everybody grew up watching Floyd work. And everybody saw that work for Floyd, Philly shell and all. That's what's going to work for me. Usyk all of a sudden changed everybody's perception. Oh, this man is, again, a callback to an older era. And is working phenomenally. And is the baddest man out here. Maybe we don't need to be as big to be fighting up here and be successful. Now we got Itauma doing that same thing. Rewriting the map. Moving with footwork. Moving with purpose. Moving with power and speed. Dexterity and perception. Having an IQ and a body that moves like somebody way lower than him in weight class, but still carrying the power of somebody big up here, but he's not the biggest guy at heavyweight, even though he's a big man. And he's able to dominate. Resetting the framework of what the heavyweight division should be. That's what we're seeing Itauma do. Continuing to work with Usyk. And he himself is a callback to an older era of boxing. We see it. He's working with the rate. He's boxing at a work rate that we haven't seen since the likes of what? Stinking, what's his name? Riddick Bowe. How many times have we seen a heavyweight with that type of volume and speed work on that consistent of a level with all the other tangible and intangible skills? Been a minute. And Usyk is one of them. That's about it. And Ruiz had the hand speed, but he sure didn't have the footwork or defense. Thomas got it all. Got it all in a way that we haven't seen relatively anybody outside of Usyk also have. He can be something that can change everything. He can be something that can change everything. Finish what Usyk started. Finish that journey to revert the heavyweight division back to, or at least back closer to, the golden era silver era of the heavyweight world. Well, the people might not be as big, but the fighters are a whole lot better. That's what we can see. And if that's the case, that's exciting. That's exciting. That's incredible. And I hope we keep on. I hope we keep it going. I do hope that we keep it going. And we keep on seeing this transition take hold and shine. But even still, we got more stuff to talk about on the show. Like with finally, we have an official announcement as Boots and Zayas is officially going down. And I think I left off an A off of Zayas. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. I think I left off an A. There we go. Accidentally backspace and deleted. But we have it. It's official. It is confirmed. It is now a actual reality standpoint that we can witness the likes of Boots Ennis get into the ring, potentially take his rightful place as a champion in this division, as he is, per the Ring Magazine, officially going to fight Xander Zayas in Brooklyn, New York on June 27th. And there's no longer any speculation. We got ourselves a fight, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves a fight. Finally, after months, and I mean months of speculation, and we didn't know where the world Boots was going to go. It's here. It's here. Barclays Center, June 27th. Zayas versus Boots for Zayas' unified titles at 154. This will be Boots' second fight at this division. Already be the former champion in the likes of Lima in a minute or in less than 2 minutes. Now goes off and fights against what we have said and what should be seen as the toughest fight of his career outright. No question about it. This is guaranteed to be. There should be, as I'm taking a sip, there should be no more questions about Boots and his quality of ability after this fight with Zayas. There should be none. None at all. This fight with Xander Zayas should be the final nail in the coffin for people that still don't buy into the fact that Jaron Ennis is worth his weight in gold in this division or in the boxing world as a whole. It should be. And I say that because Zayas has the accomplishments. He's already gone through the groundwork. He's a history-making fighter, with him being formerly the youngest champion in boxing. And he has done it against people that have indeed pushed him to show levels of, do you actually deserve this spotlight and position? He's a big guy. Good boxer. Really good boxer. Crafty. And got some decent power, especially at 154, that, hey, body your head, he lands the right shot. Yeah, he can hurt you. He can put you down. And he's got a lot of legitimate talent that if Boots is going to show that he's like that, this is going to be the guy to do it. At this division. Let me see. Bird, Xander is not better than Karin. Karin is a lot more slick than Zayas. Absolutely. He's a lot slicker than Zayas. He's a whole lot slicker than Zayas. He is a greasy fella. And I say that, I don't say it in a bad way. I'm saying that because he can be right in the pocket with you. He did that for twice. He moved around against Boots the first time. Then he went and fought Boots in the pocket the second time. He was still able to go through and make a miss. Second time, he was more deliberate in trying to go and stand and banging with him and made him pay. Boots still won, but it was a tough test. This is different because the skill sets of Zayas is not nearly as in the defensive framework as what we see with Sugar John. It's more of a boxer puncher type of style. But it is the size of Zayas coupled with the style and his talent that makes this okay. This can be something that's a problem. If you don't think Xander's better than Karin, that's fine. But Xander's ability which we can at least say, you can at least admit it's comparable. Not in style, but he is a good fighter. In this type of size and frame at this division, where again, we talked about at 154, there's no longer you can just eat shots up here. You can just be able to just take a punch and do whatever. You got to actually be responsible on a consistent basis, because once you get up to this framework, anybody can put you out, even if they have a low knockout percentage. Zayas ain't got that. He's going to be, in my opinion, the biggest public litmus test that finally establishes what I was saying about Boots Ennis when he fought against Stanionis. Hey, this brother's legit. If there's any critics about him, I still think he's gonna win. Still think he's gonna dominate. But there's still a swath of the public that still feels that Boots is not of that caliber. If he gets beat against Zayas, he gets exposed. That's the reality. If Zayas beats him, he gets exposed. That's the public perception. If you lose against Zayas, people are going to say that you were never that great. You were never that good. You were ho-hum. You were oh well. You got destroyed, and you got beat, and we had all this hype about you, and you just weren't built for it. You just weren't built for it. That's what people are going to say. Zayas is going to take a lot of shine if he wins. And Boots is going to be seen as, oh, you were a fraud. This doesn't mean we expect Boots to win. We do. But it's also how you win. This is his first championship opportunity at this level. We've been wanting to see, hey, against a champion, against somebody that is one of the 4 best at this division, how good are you and what are you? In terms of, do you belong truly? Because this is what we're looking for. We wanted you to get a test against somebody that has momentum, notoriety. Somebody that before you came along was still making their own waves. That's what we've been asking for. We're getting it. We are. And if you do this, you then get the fast track to running at Undisputed. Because you have literally everything going for you right now. With the win, it's even more momentum to get you easy access to say, hey, I'm a risk, but I'm worth it. Why? Because I'm champ and I got the money. I bring the money. I am the money for a lot of people. So, this is important. This is incredibly important, and we're so happy. June 27th is finally going down. Finally going down. Because this is in my opinion, I strongly believe this is the biggest test for him. Literally, this is the biggest test for Zayas. And for Boots. Zayas, unquestionably, because of Zayas, you've never been against anybody of this, from a talent perspective, elite level. People comparing, again, Boots to a modern day Roy Jones Jr. Zayas, you got to deal with that type of, I just got to say, crazy greatness from the perspective of ability. A one of one. That's what you got to fight. Boots got to fight against quality competition and expectations. Not comparing the two. I'm just saying that's the story. Do we see Boots mess it up? Most likely not. No, I think he gets a knockout. But if he gets a knockout in flying colors, if he gets a win in flying colors, if he doesn't struggle in a way that where Zayas has the respect of the public, and now you put on the show, guess what? The public now sees, okay, Boots, we see why we were talking about you on ESPN. We see why we were talking about you. This is the next best man that was going to be the successor or the immediate rival to Terrence Crawford. This is the man that he can become undisputed in multiple weight classes. We get now the Roy Jones Jr. conversations about you being that good of a fighter. We get that. Now we understand. This is the more than just the coming out party. This is the validation that many people who have been on the fence about with Boots, if he wins, they get it now. And if they get it now, the sky's the limit. The sky's absolutely. And more than just the sky's the limit. Undisputed, most likely it's coming. Undisputed is most likely coming through. And we can't wait to see. Let me see. I just know they're going to feed Kelly to Boots after Xander fight. Since they're on the same promotion, oh yeah, no, they will, absolutely. No, I'm not a doubt, not a doubt. If Boots gets past Zayas, Josh Kelly, you are next. You are next. There's no debate unless something happens and Ortiz just comes out the woodwork, or Fundora straight up walks into the ring and says, "Hey, give me your title." It's gonna be Boots versus Kelly, and most likely it's gonna be a short reign for Kelly. Bakram, you knocking down and surviving Bakram, incredible. Oh yeah, you earned my respect, but now you are the next target. Shoot, you might be the next target for both Fundora and Boots. Who can get to you first? And I think you're going to lose against both of them. So you might as well take on the guy that is the more lucrative potential threat, even though he's a bigger threat in Boots Ennis. So yeah, I can definitely see that. Let me see. Legendary Super Saiyan. I missed the heavyweight talk, but I wholeheartedly have Boots KO and Xander. I mean, hey, look, we're going to get back to it. Don't forget, we can talk about, I covered everything I need to cover with Boots and Zayas. We were just talking about the announcement. We get ready. We are, I think we're one topic away from going into the championship rounds on this show. So we do have a lot more that we can discuss on the day. That we can go through. In fact, we're trying to change the pacing just a little bit on our show, so we want to get as much in each, cram as much as we can as possible. So we're not going as long with it in these discussions. That's to encourage more engagement and response from the public. So keep on chatting your heavyweight talk, and we can go back and forth with it. Absolutely. Xander is an all right fighter. Again, I think he's a good fighter. I know he's a good fighter. I know he's a good fighter. He's been tested, but I know he's been good. I do know he's been good. And he's a guy who, if Boots takes him the same way that he took on David Avanesian, Boots can be put in trouble. The uncaring, nonchalant, I'll take a punch, and I don't care about defense. Sugar John was the same way. I'm annoyed that Sugar John is landing on me, but I'm not going to do anything about it from the standpoint of getting out the way. I'm just going to eat the shots. That at here, you can't do that. And if he thinks like that, it's going to be, yeah, he can get caught. He can get caught because Zayas is a big dude. He is a big dude at this division. Even for 154, he's a big guy. So you can't do that. You can't take that lightly, especially going to the body. Not saying Boots has been hurt to the body, but somebody who, if you give him an opening, he will take it. And Xander, yeah. But Boots is still better. But I do believe he is good. In fact, I'm standing on it. He's a good fighter. And he deserves to be seen as one of the best in this division. Sure, you can say Ortiz is better. You can say Boots is better. You can even say Fundora is better. But outside of those top three, well, you can argue Josh Kelly. I think Zayas is better than Josh Kelly. But then, against the rest of this division, yes, he can be beaten. But you're picking Zayas over the majority of this division in boxing. Even though everybody can be beaten at any given time, you most likely favor Zayas. I would most likely favor Zayas against everybody else outside of those select names. I'm sorry. Legend, I'm sorry, okay? I apologize. Not Judge Taylor. Josh Kelly. I didn't mean. That's my fault. Thank you for the correction. Josh Kelly, not Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is not at 154, or not champion at 154. No, he's not at 154, I believe. I apologize. That's on me. That's my fault. I'm getting people confused. Let me find out Josh Taylor. Let me find out this cat. It's moving up all the way. It's moving up 2 weight classes. And he's throwing his name in the hat too. My gosh. We about to say, man, hey man, this division is so deep. We about to say we missing people. We don't even know people. We get surprised. All of a sudden we find it out. Oh, he's here too? That's my fault. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare y'all. Lord, that would have been hey man, that would have been some huge news if we had her. Oh shoot. Oh gosh. Oh, that's funny. Oh man, I'm sorry. That's my fault. That's my fault today. That's a mulligan on me. That's a mulligan on me. I'm sorry. I got something. Look. Okay, I was thinking Josh Kelly only because I was looking up interactions with T.O. because I was trying to get some news for T.O. and some of the stuff he was getting ready to do as we were talking through our last segment. And Josh Kelly came across the screen, or rather Josh Kelly came across my mind because it was going through, oh yeah, he had fought this guy, and this guy, and it just stuck. And so I'm sorry, that's my bad. I was like, everybody, man, everybody come back. Lord, who's next? And at this point, yeah, Terrence Crawford might not be too far behind. Lomachenko, we might be seeing him at 140. Who knows at this point? If we started seeing just everybody's popping up willy-nilly at every division under the sun. Oh gosh. Oh shoot. That's funny. My stomach hurts. That was hilarious. Hold on. Let's try to get back on track. What were we talking about? Oh, I remember now. We were getting ready to transition into the championship rounds, I believe, as we're going into the rest of this show. We have a whole bunch more that we can talk about. We want to have your responses and your thoughts still be heard and the freedom to speak. So we're going to do that right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now officially into the world of the championship rounds for our tenure in boxing. Yes, indeed. We're excited for it. We can't wait to see it. We want to hear your thoughts and reactions to everything around the globe involving the world of sports and beyond, whether it's boxing, NBA, NFL. We got the MVP race now with Victor Wembanyama ranked number 1 in the NBA now to win MVP over SGA. I believe they won, the Spurs have won 24 out of the last 25 games that they've been playing, all of a sudden led by Victor Wembanyama, who's averaging, I believe it's 25, 11, and 4 blocks a game, shooting 50% from the field and upwards of 35% from 3. This cat's been a monster, the best defensive player in the world, potentially can be the youngest MVP and DPOY that we've ever had in terms of defensive player of the year that we've ever had in history, let alone to win it in both years would be insane and preposterous. Oh, we got that coming up. We got the playoffs coming underway, and we got more stuff in boxing that we do need to discuss. We want to hear from you and your thoughts and responses. So let's get it started. Let's get it popping. Let's see what you all got to say on the day today. Wardley versus Dubois has been the best heavyweight clash on the horizon since the start of the year. Your picks, I got Wardley. At this point, I have, I want to say, man, I'm really concerned. I want to say I have Wardley. Initially, I had Dubois. I think Dubois is a better fighter. But I have Wardley. I really do have Wardley. But I'm very scared that Fabio Wardley, when the fight gets late, with us knowing the stamina of Daniel Dubois, and Wardley being there, he's there to get hit now. He's faced this. I think this is the first time Wardley's outside of Justice Hooney and Joseph Parker. This is the most deliberate threat of a puncher who has the capacity to put your lights out. Any given point in time with a clean shot, if you are just there in front of him. That's Daniel Dubois. He can do it. And if it gets late, yeah, the desperation shot can come through. He can catch Dubois and put him out. But at the same breath, if you get tired and Dubois sees that you are tired, but he can pick up the pace and he can land a grazing shot that while against others, you've been able to take it. Against Dubois, you may not. You may not be able to take it. You might, and because that chin, it keeps getting tested more and more and more from Fabio Wardley. I don't know how much it's got left with the amount of punchery he's willingly taken because he's there for war. We respect it, but we also understand the caveat to it. You can quickly turn into a Joseph. You can quickly turn into a Joe Joyce in one fight, and all it takes is one fight. It takes one time for your chin to crack, and the best defense is ruined forever. That's what we can see with Wardley. So I want to say I'm picking Wardley, but I'm very scared because I know on the back end, when he's most vulnerable, it may not work in his favor again. It may not. Because if he gets caught first, Dubois, we've seen a grazing shot can put you on Dream Street. It can. A short shot, again, what knocked out Anthony Joshua wasn't even a big time shot. It was a shot that didn't even look like it fully extended. And it just worked. And so I'm picking Wardley, but I am very concerned. But let me keep on reading. Dubois versus Wardley, who utilizes their jab better? Wardley. Wardley uses his jab better. Wardley is a crude fighter. But he's a crude fighter that still attempts to do the proper stuff. He still does. I mean, you go back and watch the fight with Justice Hooney or Joseph Parker in the last two instances. He was trying to box, or rather, he was doing his best imitation of being a boxer, and in terms of like a more technically sound type of fighter. He was using his length and using his jab, using his hand speed to try to go through and catch his opponents. He would try to move his head. It wasn't great. It wasn't pretty, definitely, but he would try. And he used his athleticism to his advantage, even though it wasn't the fundamentally sound way to do the stuff that you would want a sound fighter to be. To do. That's what he at least works to do. Daniel Dubois doesn't really do that. He's got a slow jab. He's got the hooks. He does. He can throw a mean uppercut. And if him just walking down, oh yeah, no, he can be aggressive. But speed-wise, Wardley has the advantage. I think that Dubois is more lumbering. For crazy enough, Wardley's actually more limber. When he does throw the jab now, it's not a bad jab that he's had. That's the crazy thing. It's not a bad jab that he has. It's not a bad work of offensive utilization because it's just not refined. A lot of Wardley's offense is just raw. It's just raw. It's raw and it's driven by will. That's what's made Wardley so impactful. It's the will to win. And just whatever happens, I'm just never going to fall. And I will throw whatever I got to throw because I know something's going to land. I just have to trust myself and you won't make me quit. I don't care how bad you beat me. That's the thing. But if he refined that stuff, he'll be monstrous. He'll be monstrous. More monstrous than he already is now. But even raw, he has qualities that it's like, yeah, he can give Dubois some trouble. He really can. He really can. Let me see. I give the speed advantage to Wardley. Yep, I would as well. I had Wardley improving going into the Parker fight. Post the Hooney fight comeback, he jabbed high and low versus Parker decently. He did. Like I said, it just wasn't refined. It's a very Wardley is a very deliberate fighter, and he works in a way that he's not attempting to. He's going to try to do the best stuff he can. But he's not going to go away too far from his identity. But if he can add it, he will add it. And it'll at least work to say, okay, hey, I at least got to remember this guy is a threat in range. Let me do my best to keep him out of range. Or make it so that if we're going to get into close quarters, let me use my jab to be the man who's aggressing forward, who's moving forward, who's being the first to initiate, and to maximize my physical advantage of being a total longer fighter. And so he is improving. He is thinking more. He's even said to himself, He's learning on the job. He's learning on the job. He has said himself, I am learning on the job of working as a fighter. I'm learning on the job and working as how to become even better. So we'll probably see a better version of Wardley in this fight against Dubois. But he's going to need it to be better. Because the threat level in terms of straight up one punch KO, he is potentially meeting his match of I can do it just like you can do it. Who's going to land the bomb first? That's the question. That's the question. Let me see. Dubois is like a modern day listing in a weird, uncanny. I mean, I wouldn't say, I would have said that, or I could see that more of a comparison if he did indeed use that jab in the way that Liston uses it. He doesn't. Even when Dubois uses that jab, it's not a space taker. You know, when Liston used his jab, for those of you who know who Sonny Liston is, he's the guy who trained George Foreman when George Foreman was coming up in boxing. He was a mentor. He was also the guy that had the title of the most feared man in boxing. Straight up. At that point in time, was seen as the scariest man to ever walk the face of the earth at that point in the heavyweight history. He was the man who everybody said Ali would die against. There's no way he can do anything. Yes, they said he would die against the likes of George Foreman. They also said it about him against the likes of Sonny Liston, and they wanted it to happen. Because at that point in time, Cassius Clay, everybody was looking at him as, the Louisville Mouth. Nobody wants to deal with him. Nobody likes him. He talks too much and he dances. He runs, as it was called. Crazy enough, we still call people that to this day. But even still, Liston was a destroyer. And he was at 6 foot, 6'1"? He had an 84-inch reach. That's longer than Tyson Fury. That's longer than John Jones. He had a longer reach than Deontay Wilder at 84 inches, at 6'1". He has a longer reach than Sebastian Fundora at 6'5". And he is 6'1" in Sonny Liston. And he was, mind you, those arms were packed with nothing but dense muscle. He was an animal in the ring. And the best weapon that he had on top of his right hand was straight up just the jab. Because yes, it could reach you from anywhere. But it was also so thudding and so demonstrative. It was lethal. And he used it in a way that it set the tone for the whole fight. Daniel Dubois doesn't do that, sadly. Now, if he did, he doesn't have the same comparative physical makeups. But to come forward, hands to your face. I'm throwing power a lot. I get it, but I can't see that comparison because it's too much. It's not consistent at all with him using that prowess of the jab. It ain't. If it was, I would like to see a little bit more. But sadly, I don't think Sonny Liston is the best apropos comparison. Now, if he all of a sudden scares away Fabio Wardley, okay, we got another conversation. But most likely it ain't gonna happen. But I don't really know who to compare Daniel Dubois to. I don't really know who to compare Daniel Dubois to. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hello? We good? Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Are we good? Are we okay? Apologies. Well, we froze for a minute. Are we good? It looks like we're back. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're back. It looks like that we're back. It looks like we're okay. Thank gosh. Got scared for a second. But when it's that finishing off with Daniel Dubois. Dubois just doesn't look like a he's a fight. I'll say this. Dubois could be better. Dubois should be better with how he is as a fighter. It's just a shame that it seemed like he's only gotten to a point, and now that next kind of push of You're in your prime. You're 27 years old. You've been a world champion. You have evolved, but now there's one last evolution that needs to take place to make you the big threat that we know you can be in all totality. Even with this changed mentality of what you are now as a fighter and how you think. There's one last push. I don't know when it's going to come. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm scared that's not going to happen. If it does, Dubois can be a reigning champion. Not saying he's going to beat everybody, but he could be a reigning champion. But I just don't know when that last push of evolution is going to come from Dubois. And if it doesn't, I'm kind of scared as this next regime comes in. When I say Dubois should be leading that charge, I don't know if he actually will in the long run. It might be for a short stint. And so I'm a little bit concerned. But even still, let me say, yes, I agree. If he uses the jab more consistently, Dubois should consider going to Kronk Gym. I would think, who is the guy that's training him now? I can't think of who's training him now, but I am fairly certain that I don't think he's the right guy. I do not think he's the right guy for him. The dude who's training him now, I don't know if he's the right dude. I think he does need to change trainers. If he does, it might be the best thing for him. It really might be the best thing for him. And I would hope so, because I want to see the best out of Daniel Dubois. But either way, to finish out the topic, I got Wardley beating Dubois. I do. Probably going to come down to another Hail Mary. But I got him beating Daniel Dubois. Now, also, be clear. Be ready. We could see Wardley just bum rush him. Be clear. We could see Wardley just bum rush him. We about to move on. But we could see Wardley just straight up bum rush Dubois. Because Dubois doesn't move his head. Both of them don't move their head. Both of them are not trying to get away from shots. But if we're going to say, okay, we're going to both be swinging like madmen, might as well start it off early. And early on, I can trust my chin way more than you. So, don't be surprised if Warrior just comes out straight up, big straight punch, throwing hooks. And he's not going to let what Dubois did to Anthony Joshua and what Dubois tried to do to Usyk happen to him. Straight up, he's going to come out guns blazing. Forget the jab. He'll just come out straight up, pawing big-time blows, big-time shots just to get Dubois backing up and land something. Don't be surprised if we see that take place as the fight starts. So let me see. Does Fury make the Makhmudov fight look easy, or is it Fury versus Ngannou all over again? Oh, no. He makes that fight look easy. That fight's going to look easy. That's not going to be close. That's not going to be close. It's not going to be close at all. That fight will not be close. Yeah, it's because this is not a Fury who is just lackadaisically training for a given fight that should be able to be easily won. This is a Fury who's trying to get Usyk one more time. And a Fury that has an Anthony Joshua fight potentially on the horizon. If we see Anthony Joshua win his first comeback fight, after Tyson Fury wins his fight against Makhmudov, if he wins, I guarantee you, that fight between those two, they're going to get that fight going on. Because, be honest, Fury needs to fight AJ to get a shot at Usyk in the first place. Because he is he's still in the contention for, hey, this may still be the second best man in the division, but you've been gone. You retired, and this time you stuck with it for multiple years. Now, you are behind the rest of the division. Sure, Usyk said that he wants to fight more. He said he's got 3 fights left, but he's ending that tenure of his career with fighting Usyk. With fighting Fury. That's what Usyk said. The last fight is going to be Fury. It's going to be Verhoeven, Wardley, Fury. That's what Usyk said. That's not me just making up stuff. That's what Usyk said. So because of that, Fury has got to get to Usyk. And if he wants to get to Usyk, almost assuredly, he's going to have to go through at least Anthony Joshua. At least Anthony Joshua. Because he's not fighting most of the town. And AJ Caballero might get stalled out yet again. He's not fighting him. It's going to have to be AJ. So he's fighting for the next biggest paycheck he can get outside of Usyk for a third time. I guarantee you, he's not going to take that fight lightly. And Makhmudov, he's not a great fighter. He's not a great fighter. Makhmudov is a brother who he will go through and he can knock you out. Sure. But he's slow. He walks with his hands down even when it's fresh. He tires out after 4 rounds. He's a man who, if he goes to the body, yeah, sure, he can hurt you, but he can get hurt to the body. And he swings wild when he's trying to close the distance. So guess what? He's going to have to reach, against the 82-inch reach of Tyson Fury, he's going to have to go and swing with everything he's got. Similar to what we saw with Sebastian Fundora. And unlike Sebastian Fundora, Tyson Fury is way better at getting out the way of shots, being better defensively, being smarter defensively, all that stuff. He's better. So be sure to know he is going to make this look easy. And most likely, don't be surprised if we see a Tyson Fury that's going to be more of a powerhouse than we've seen, because he has to be, because Tyson Fury is no longer the mover that he used to be. He's not. Tyson Fury's no longer the mover. He's no longer a bouncer when it comes to bouncing around the ring. He's no longer the jumping around, same herky-jerky tap his head, going through and trying to fake you out. He doesn't do all that as much because now he's 38. He's 38 at 265. He's not going to be bouncing. He's not going to be jumping around. He's going to have to just stay put and be more crunk than we've ever seen him before. I'm talking about straight up jab. I mean, big jab, boom, going in, coming and blah. Coming, I mean, forget it's gonna be.
And he floats like a butterfly and hits like a tree.
It's only the last part of that sentiment, hit like a tree, because he ain't gonna be floating like that. He's gonna be like Ali in the latter half of his career when he would jump and he would be hopping, he'd be dancing, but it would only be for spurts. A round or two at a time, and then back to going on the rope or dope, or straight up standing and banging with people, because he could stand and bang. That's what Tyson Fury's gonna have to be, because if he ain't trying to jump and fight like the old Tyson Fury, it's just not there anymore. This ain't because I'm trying to say, oh, he's a lost cause. It's because, just like with Canelo, he's changing. Just like with Errol Spence, he's changing. Shoot, even just like with Usyk, he's changing. Different trajectories, but they're changing nonetheless. They're all old. There's going to have to be some capitulations. Bivol probably ain't going to look the same when he comes back. Archibald Beard, we've seen him. He has still stood the test of time. Somehow, some way. Arizona Lara, he still stood the test of time. But both of them, what they had to do, they had to change. They had to adapt to what they were. And Lara is going to probably be the most significant cause for what we can see Tyson Fury be. A normally fleet-footed, movement-based fighter that's going to turn into a straight-up demonstrative puncher. That's what's going to have to be. A straight-up, use that height and leverage with that defensive prowess to, I'm standing and banging. I'm right here with you. I'm fighting to hurt. No more so just fighting just to box. And I'm going to use this 260, 270, upwards of 290 frame to go lean on you even more. Land those big low uppercuts and hooks to the body. Put some leather behind my shots. And go and take it to you. Because I can't just back up anymore in the same way. Because I'm not the same guy. That's probably what we will see as we continue to watch these fights unfold and evolve, almost assuredly. And so I can't wait to see Tyson Fury back, but that's the fear that we're probably going to experience in his comebacks to the ring. But we still got more to talk about in the world of boxing. Still got more stuff to cover, and it's still the championship rounds. We still want to hear from you in regards to your topics and conversations surrounding the boxing world. We still want your thoughts and opinions, debates, and all that stuff. Please leave a like on the stream real quick. Leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions. Keep on subscribing if you haven't already. And please keep on sharing the show. It's the most important thing in the world. Sharing the show with people. Letting people know this is the place to be. Putting people on to this show is the best way to get us involved and help us grow as a community, and as an empire, all with you and your support, making it possible. And we appreciate those so much. And real quick, shameless plug, because I got to. We got a super chat goal. If we get 10 super chats in the end of this show, it would mean the world to me. And we could even add an extra hour to this show. As we go long anyway, but even still, more incentive if you want more of the show. Hey, give anything would do if you can support the channel. We ain't begging, we ain't pleading, but this is what we gotta do. Hey, we ain't got ads yet, we ain't got sponsors yet, they coming, but until we do, we're made possible by viewers like you to help make the show bigger, better, and stronger, all for your own viewing and listening pleasure, and we're made possible all with your support, so we appreciate you all so much. But please just keep on sticking around and keep on liking the stream. But we wanted to go back to a conversation real quick that we were having earlier when it came to because I think Legendary, you weren't here. You said you didn't get to see a lot of the heavyweight conversation with Wardley, Dubois, and Itauma when we were talking about heavyweights earlier. What we had said about the heavyweight division earlier in the show was the fact that Itauma is the truth. Itauma proved something with Jermain Franklin, and that Itauma is now a threat that's feared by the public. I guarantee you, Wardley may have said in that post-press conference, hey man, he's not on my level yet. He's also hoping he doesn't get to my level yet. Because with Wardley, without much unfundamental ability that he's shown, getting out of dodge ain't going to work against Moses Itauma. It's not going to work. That Hail Mary shot, it's not going to work against Moses Itauma. It won't. It won't. It will not. That one-hitter quitter where you're going to be able to go through and land something out of desperation, a miracle punch, it's not going to happen against Itauma. It wouldn't. Because he's too good to get hit by that now. We can also question, is the chin of Itauma worth it? He hasn't been rocked yet. Well, that's for good reason. Granted, he hasn't. When he elevates his competition, it's going to happen. But we're going to find out. It's going to be very possible. But don't already assume that he can't take a punch. That's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have with people that are knockout powers. It doesn't mean that they can't get hurt, but don't already assume that when somebody that can punch lands on them, it ain't going to take anything. He's been tagged before by some people that, even though they ain't got a great record, they got some decent power. He's been able to stand up to it. In fact, he's upped his own tempo after he's got caught. So be mindful of that. Wardley may be more concerned about this fight than you may believe, as is the rest of this division. That is the rest of the division. And so be prepared. Be prepared, because I guarantee you it's a lot more threatening most of the time against the globe than we may feel. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Itauma versus Gassiev. I did say that as a potential. I had said that Bakoli should be the next guy to fight. F.A. Ajagba should be the next guy to fight. I'd even say put him up again. If you want to be completely honest, with me? If we want to, if there's any consistency, or rather, if there's any way to test truly what Itauma is, there's one name that he needs to go up against. He's not at the top of the division. But if you can beat him, more than anything, all the questions about your power, your chin, they will be answered. I'm about to reveal who that is going to be. Giasov is one of them. He's one of them. I would love to see him fight. If we can see Itauma against Giasov, love that. But there's another name. Let me see. Speed kills. Speed will kill again in that hypothetical matchup, though Giasov is dangerous on the inside. No, he will. Speed will kill. Speed will kill. Itauma versus F.A. Ajagba is another great matchup. He beats F.A. Ajagba. You saw, now F.A. Ajagba would be an even easier fight because you saw he was trying to fight Martin Bakoli. When Martin Bakoli was the bigger puncher, and F.A. Ajagba, yeah, he was boxing. but he was really trying to move to avoid that power, and he wasn't moving great, and he was breaking Bacoli's ankles. We saw Bacoli literally almost roll his ankle trying to keep track with him. When Efe Ajagba has to stand toe-to-toe with the likes of Itauma, all that movement is going to be really useless. Useless. And trying to box from the back foot like Efe was doing, it's not going to work. Not at all, because he's not a great back foot boxer. He's not even a great front foot boxer. He is a very much tree. His best ability is him fighting a tree, or him as a tree, standing big and tall and being able to control his will with the 1-2s. It's a very basic, when I say basic, it's a very simplistic framework of offense that Efe wants to impose, but it works flawlessly because, again, he's so powerful. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that's his thing. So what does that mean? If he has to do anything outside of that, I'm not saying it can't work, but it can be not as productive. And if he has to do it against Itauma, it's going to be very much a bad day. And it is going to be a bad day if he fights against him. But no, that's not the guy I'm talking about. Itauma versus Caballero, that fight, Itauma's been open to. He even said, that's a good idea. I may just have to take that fight. He wants that fight if it does happen. Just like he wants Anthony Joshua if it does happen. However, the question of will it is a whole other conversation. Because we've seen, I'm not saying Itauma's scared, but also Itauma may be trying to push for a championship fight, so we may not get that fight first and foremost. I would have loved to see Itauma Caballero fight against each other. Winner of that gets the guaranteed shot against Usyk. Because again, we can't say that Itauma isn't ready for that Usyk level if we're saying that we want to see him against Caballero. Caballero's the mandatory that people are saying deserves to fight Usyk. So if you can fight Caballero, guess what? You're in the same Venn diagram. You can be ready to fight Usyk. You can. You can. You absolutely can. So I wouldn't be mad at seeing it. But that's not the guy I'm saying he needs to fight. If there's a guy that he should fight to shut up all the concerns about what he is as a young fighter in this elite propensity of talent, fight Big Bang Jang. Fight Big Bang Jang. Fight Big Bang Jang. That's the guy. If there's anybody that he should fight in this division, fight Big Bang Jang. Because it will answer every major question about what he can do. It will answer whether or not he can take a punch. It will answer what he can do against quality boxing competition. It will answer against somebody who is actually good defensively. How do you respond with getting around their walls? Somebody who has a chin and can take big shots to the head. What can you do to be able to go and still get that KO? And somebody who we can say that he's a slow-footed fighter. He's not a slow puncher. Big Bang Jang is not a slow puncher. He is one of the underrated counter punchers that this division has to offer. We've seen this man put down Joseph Parker twice off of counter shots that looked like they came out like a gun. To the point that you didn't even recognize they were coming out up until it landed. Oh my gosh, what a shot. That's the type of offensive threat that Big Bang Jang is. If you can beat Big Bang Jang in the same way you've been beating everybody else, we got ourselves no more questions to have. None. Yeah, Big Bang Jang is not the best stamina fighter. Absolutely not. He's got some of the worst, if not the worst stamina in this division amongst any potential contenders in this heavyweight regime. It's between him and Deontay Wilder. That's the truth. But that's what he's got. But the question isn't, can you last up? Well, the question isn't, are you going to test your stamina against him? The question is, if you get caught, can you get up? If Big Bang Jang catches you clean, can you take the punch? If we see Big Bang Jang rock you, can you survive past round 5? Even better, can you end Big Bang Jang within 5 rounds? That's where the real test is. Not about if you can make him tired. It's if you can beat Big Bang Jang while he's fresh. I'm talking about take it to him. And you're going through and you get him out of there within 5 while he still has a gas tank. Hey man. That shuts up noise that we didn't even did. That shuts up anybody's concerns. Because Big Bang Jang for 5 rounds is one of the 4 best talented fighters in this division. As a pure boxing ability. He's got that in him. As a well-rounded fighter. Can take a punch, durable. Sure, you can get him out there with the body like we saw with AJ Caballero, but that takes 5 rounds of consistent work. No, most people ain't doing what Caballero's doing. So you fight and you take that you beat him in the 5 rounds. He's one of the most dangerous fighters in this division from rounds 1 through 5. You take him out there. That answers the whole that makes you horrific. That makes you horrifying. That's the guy. Big Bang Jang versus Itauma. That's what I would want to see next. And if he can get Big Bang Jang out of there in 5 rounds while he's fresh, not if he can stall him out. He gets him out of there while he's fresh. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be incredible. That would be phenomenal. Let me see. I'm convinced Moses' speed is too much for Zhang. Another great clash. It is. It's not about, but it's about if we want to test if somebody can take the power to the head of Itauma, it's Zhang. If you can knock Zhang out to the head, that further cements that your power is something to behold against everybody in this division. That even makes you arguably top 3 puncher, period, in this division. That even might take the cake, because you might be the best puncher in this division. If you go through and you knock out Big Bang Jang to the head, son, there ain't nobody done. It seems like he can absorb contact up there. It's the body that's a concern. You take him out up here, that's just like I said with Jermain Miller. Further stokes the flames of fear. That's what I'm trying to get. Moses would have to be patient from the get-go. He would. But my barometer, and I see what you're saying about Jermain Miller. Jermain Miller would be a really good fight as well from the perspective of he's been consistently fighting. He's been in the ring. A stamina-driven fighter. Can you go the distance with him? Not just go the distance. Can you beat Jermain Miller to where as he ups the pace, he can't do anything with you and you still decimate and dominate like we know you can? That would be a phenomenal test, because Jermain Miller is along that same pathway of he's not a championship fighter, but he's a really good gatekeeper. He's a really quality gatekeeper. But I'm speaking from the perspective, I'm speaking from the perspective of what can get the biggest amount of scared feeling from the world of the heavyweight division. If he knocks out Jermain Miller, that'd be phenomenal. Though we've seen it done before with the likes of Daniel Dubois. If him versus Caballero, absolutely, would be a phenomenal fight. He beats Caballero, that same level of fear comes through, no question. But if we're trying to the best natural elevation up from what we saw with Jermaine Franklin would be, in my opinion, Big Bang Jang. Either that or Philip Hergovich. That's another one. Philip Hergovich versus Moses Itauma. If Hergovich wins his next fight, would be a great step up in competition against somebody as a tall fighter, as somebody who is really good at using that height to his advantage. That's made it hard for even like the Daniel Dubois to succeed. Even though, again, Dubois got him out of there, he was landing clean on him. Dubois was just able to take the punches and keep on pushing. If you cannot get hit by Hergovich with that 1-2 combination and still do the same level of damage, but this time in the show, that would be phenomenal. That's another one. That would be a great further implication of working your way up in this division, fighting the people that you're supposed to be fighting in this division, and moving through the caliber of competition to where you get to your championship opportunity. by beating the people that are the big stepping stones in your path. If you can't get again Caballero immediately, that'll be my biggest thing. I'm still thinking Big Bang Jang is the best next option. As in, that's the guy. I'm waiting for him to fight. If I'm gonna go off a ranking, it is the next 5 opponents that we should see Moses Itauma fight. Number 5, probably Jarrell Miller. Number 4, F.A. Jagba. Number 3, Hergovich. Number 2, Martin McCauley. Number 1, Big Bang Jang. Of a ranking of 1 to 5 of the next 5 opponents that I would want to see Itauma fight next. In terms of his next guy can be one of those 5. 5 being, the least, the most anticipated. Number 1 being the guy that's who I think he should fight absolutely next. To make a big splash, a bigger splash in the heavyweight division. That's what I want to see. Again, that's me personally. But all of these are good names. All of these are great names. Now, the thing is, after this fight with any of those, that is when Caballero comes into the picture. After, if he fights McCauley, if he fights Ajagba, if he fights Miller, if he fights Hergovich, if he fights Zhang, all of them, after that, now Caballero, that becomes real. Now that it becomes real. Now we're at either that's the next fight or we're 1 fight away. Either that's the next fight or we're 1 fight away. Either we fight either we fight Caballero versus Moses next, or at worst, we see Moses get 1 more fight before that fight ultimately takes place. My opinion. He knocks out Big Bang Jang. Come to America. Fight Richard Torres and or Jared Anderson. Then you get Bacola. Or then you get Caballero. Any of those previous 5. If you don't get Caballero next after that, Jared Anderson or Richard Torres here in the States, you knock them out. And now you got the pulsing you have the heartbeat of the public across the pond and over here in America seeing you, oh, this man's different. And everybody sees you as, yeah, we want to see you against Usyk now, and those noises get louder more than ever. And then we get a Caballero, Moses Itauma fight, main event, winner gets Usyk as their next outing. Or one of these champions. But we see them fight against each other. That would be my perfect role. That would be my perfect role. In his next fight, any one of those 5 fighters. Then afterwards, if he doesn't get Caballero, Jerry Anderson, and Richard Torres in America, then boom. Then you get Caballero. And then it's, you beat him, now you got whatever you want. Sky's the limit. That would be my, if I was a matchmaker, that's what I do. That's what I'm pining for. I'm pining for that. I would love that. I would love that. Because then he can be great. He can be great, no question about it. But we still want to keep on talking and responding. Like I said, we're at the 2-hour mark. We can keep on going as long as you all keep on responding and talking through the show. We still want your chats and conversations, your opinions and your thoughts. We still got a whole bunch of stuff in the world of boxing that we can cover and get into and discuss. And we still want to hear from you in all regards of the world of boxing and beyond. But even still, we did want to cover one more thing in terms of around the boxing world. There was a real big stint involving Ryan Garcia, if you didn't get to hear. Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford going and really jawing at each other. More specifically, Terrence Crawford talking about the next things that he wanted to do for his career. And Ryan Garcia saying, well, you ain't fought nobody in the first place. Not only will let Ryan Garcia, if I have it, I will let Ryan Garcia even say those very things about Terrence Crawford via his own words. If in fact, yep, here we go. I just had to make sure I had the clip. But if in fact I can get it up here, and I do have it right now. So let me tell you what Ryan Garcia had to say about Terrence Crawford. And since he's saying, hey, Crawford, you ain't fought nobody young, and if I was in the ring with you, yeah, I would have put you out. Along with the stuff he said over social media. So let me play this clip first so you all can see what Ryan Garcia had to say.
You're overhyped, bum, bro. I'm looking at the camera right now. You suck, bro. Just stop acting like you're like that. Stop stealing boxing money. You're wasting everybody's money. You're not entertaining, bro. You're boring as. Come see me in the ring if you think I'm talking shit. I could do it anytime,
You think
bro.
you can see Crawford?
I could definitely see Crawford, bro. What do you mean? None of these motherfuckers are that good, bro. Terrence Crawford really hasn't beat nobody other than Errol Spence Jr. that went through a car crash. Who has he beat? He hasn't beat nobody, bro. He's not gonna beat nobody, bro. Terrence Crawford, if he fights Virgil Ortiz and I think Virgil Ortiz might even give him a run for the money. Even though
You think so?
yeah, I think so. No, he ain't like that, bro.
Mm.
Terrence Crawford is an overhyped bone, bro. I'm sorry. You're overhyped.
Yeah, shocking word by a shocking man. I will say that. Hey, well, yeah, it's like, my God, it's crazy. They would say something like that, but at the same breath, these sentiments on top of some other sentiments he was holding over social media when talking about, as you can see right here, when reference to in response to the conversation, Ryan Garcia responded to Terrence Crawford saying, I'm older than Spencer Canelo rights. What do you mean? I'm no, in terms of there was more to that clip, but essentially, why am I not great? And I've done all this stuff and I'm older than them. And he was saying, I was talking in boxing years champ. There's no doubt you got more in the tank than them. That's not a knock on you. You kept your body conditioned. But there's a lot of young and hungry fighters that wanted to work, that wanted that work, that you never let challenge you. And so now, also piggybacking with the clip that you saw, Terrence Crawford said, who really wanted some work? Please don't say Virgil, Boots, or even you. So who is you talking about, sir? So again, had their back and forth and had their spat. You even saw it on the likes of the Ring magazine as a whole. I think this is the last. This blurb is is this the last blurb? Yeah. This blurb is the last blurb in said debate of conversation. If I can zoom out and get it right, let me see. He said, I believe Terrence Crawford left more of his legacy on the table. Just my opinion. Undisputed don't mean anything if you know truly you didn't challenge yourself. I'm speaking for no unboxing and speaking from the heart as a fighter, not just some random who can only see the surface level of the game. Well, mind you, you do see the surface. You are only seeing the surface level of the game. Understand this when we're talking about Ryan Garcia in this whole conversation. This is the same brother that said the likes of Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, is not a Hall of Famer. This is the same man now saying that Terrence Crawford left his legacy on the table, even though he beat Canelo Alvarez in his last fight, who was undoubtedly the best at the division with no equal. At that point, even if you want to say he's on the decline, coming up from where he started his career at 135. Preposterous. And he made it look easy doing it. This, coupled with that was the best performance anybody had in a decisive victory against Canelo amongst his all three losses. It was better than what Floyd had done. It was better than what Bivol did. It was. And now, you're saying he left stuff on the legacy. Here's the problem with that response. When we're looking at Crawford, this is a man who was avoided by many. The whole side of the street argument we were talking about earlier, this man was avoided by both fighters and entire promotions that didn't want their fighter getting in the ring with him because he was too big of a risk at that point in time. It wasn't until after he beat Spence and ultimately after he beat Canelo that we saw Virgil Ortiz and everybody else under the sun start calling his name. Charlo start calling his name. Ryan Garcia start calling his name. None of y'all were talking about him. None of y'all were talking about him. None of y'all were talking about him. And nobody wanted any smoke with him. It was utmost respect. And then finally, he got to the position of, oh, I'm the guy. And now everybody wants smoke with him. Sean Porter didn't run from nothing. Absolutely. Kell Brook fought him. He fought the most of the best at his division, or the multiple divisions, the majority of them. But don't forget, others just wouldn't fight him outright. Part of the reason why he wasn't getting the same notoriety was because the cat was being, to some degree, blackballed. Because he was too good and didn't have enough notoriety for anybody that was those young, hungry cats to dominate, to fight him. Because he would have dominated him. And you weren't saying anything about him. And coupled with the fact that you lost the Tank, and Tank ain't nowhere close to the fighter that we see Terrence Crawford as, you showed up ain't beating Terrence Crawford. Showing up ain't beating Terrence Crawford. There's no way. You can say he's boring and all that stuff, but his legacy is more than you. His legacy is what you wish you were. If you had a third of his legacy, you would be probably retired. If you had a third of his greatness, you probably would have retired because you would say there's nothing else for me to do. You were and are one of those young fighters. Now you're one of the main fighters. Not young, but main fighters because you're older. But you were not even in the vicinity to fight him when he was doing what he was doing. You wanted your smoke now after the whole PED drama and after Devin Haney and now after Mario Barnes. Talking a lot of smack now. And you still worry about that action. You still are. However, problem still stands. You, cannot say that you are an aficionado or that you're about that boxing life, or you can speak from a different perspective because I'm not just some bum talking out the side of my mouth and still say the same stuff a bum talking out the side of their mouth would say. And even the credentials that you're trying to bring about pale in comparison to even have you offered in that conversation if you're trying to separate yourself from the plebeians that may say that you're wrong, which you're wrong. Be clear. And you will always be wrong if this is how you feel. Because it doesn't make any sense. This is you. Really, it sounds like you're just mad you didn't get that opportunity. But in all actuality, you were never going to get that opportunity. Because you never got up there in the first place. You finally got a belt. You never even been top, what, 20 in the world? Maybe top 15 at one point in time. Maybe now with your win against Barrios, but hated, vilified, and you never even sniffed the top 10 of pound for pound. And he's been number one multiple times, retired number one, while beating a guy that you trained with that would have beaten you as well. And you couldn't do nothing with the Canelo when you were sparring with him and he was trying to make you better. And you said, no, I don't need you, and you left him. There's no comparison. It's dumb and it's stupid. It's ignorant and it's sad, really. Because Virgil didn't call him out until afterwards. Boots had an opportunity to fight him at 147. Right? Could even fought him 154, but didn't. We complained about him dragging his feet. And then Ryan Garcia, you weren't even in the conversation. You didn't even belong in the same vicinity. We didn't even want to see that fight because you didn't belong or deserve or even were good enough to get that fight. If you wanted that smoke, and you're not good enough now. Be clear, you're not good enough now to get that fight. So, you're talking like a bum. Like the bums that you say you have more credentials to talk more than them. That's how you're sounding. That's the truth. That's not me trying to be mean. That's the truth of the matter. And you've been doing this for a mighty long time, which I don't understand. You talking in a way that has you elevated in this high regard, an expert in the sport, which I laud, I respect because you are a fighter. I'm not going to act like I know more than you. Because again, I'm not in the ring. I know where I'm at. I'm a fan. Trying to be a pundit. Hopefully I can be an expert that you all can respect. I pray that you can at least trust I'm coming from a genuine perspective. Even if you don't agree. You can at least understand where I'm coming from. However, what I can't respect is blatant ignorance. I can't respect blatant ignorance. And that's what this is. That's what that conversation is. That's what all these talking points are. Because Terrence Crawford was talked about as the only people that can mess with them, top 3 in the division. All the young stars that you're talking about were young when he was reigning at the top. Now they're reaching their peak, and now, hey, I'm 38, and I've done everything I needed to do. I'm done, and you can't say I didn't fight nobody because I fought everybody I could, and I went after the best guys out there. I did what I was supposed to do, and I call it a career, plain and simple. It's just ignorance. Pushing agendas that shouldn't be pushed. And it's a major problem. For me, huge problem. And I hate it. I despise it. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Like I said, oh yeah, Teddy Berkshire, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you, Teddy. Thank you for tuning in to the show. We appreciate you on our live. Like I said, it's going to be an assault. Luke couldn't do nothing. Oh yeah, no. We talk about Jermain Franklin. No, he couldn't do a thing. Couldn't do a doggone thing. Also, Fundora couldn't do a doggone thing neither. Ain't got long, so I'm fully sold on Itauma. That him and Caballero are the only two that can take the Ukrainian unicorn. It's getting close to that conversation, no question about it. Itauma versus Anderson is the fight. To make. Is the welcome to America? Yes, I said the same thing. It's either Mosley becoming a household name and retires Jared early, or Jared regains his star power, both young and it's part of the situation. Thurman was who I was talking about in my first comment. Yeah, no, I understand. I understood. And it's like, Caballero most likely will be after we get a fight with Jared Anderson. Because again, if you weren't here, not trying to beat a dead horse, for those of you who just heard, but just reiterating my point for some of the people that are new. I wanted him to fight any of the 5 between Bakoli, Hergovich, Big Bang Jang, Jarrell Miller. Who was the fifth one? And F.A. Ajagba. Any of those 5 first. Fight one of them. My pick, Big Bang Jang. Then fight Jared Anderson or Richard Torres. Win them both, get the fandom from both sides of the world, America and the UK. Now you can get a fight with Caballero for a big time situation in a headlining event, probably in Wembley Stadium or something close to it, for a shot at the world title guaranteed as a mandatory opportunity on the line, and 2 young stars who got everything going for them going up against each other. And if you win, brother, the sky's the limit. And it's also special. So yeah, I agree with you on all those points, and I want to see it. I do want to see it. And mind you, Jared Anderson right now is falling into the situation where he is a gatekeeper. That's the problem. Jared Anderson is a great name because he's a gatekeeper. He is a gatekeeper. He is for this division, Jared Anderson is a gatekeeper for what can transpire. That's just the truth. He is a gatekeeper for what exactly we can see. If you can't beat him, you can't get up here. Jared Anderson is not great. He's a decent fighter that can fight up to a good level. He's not great. All these tools that he's had, he is a well-versed fighter, but he's not a great fighter. Above average. It's not a knock. This is where he's at. But if you can't beat Jared Anderson, you have no business being able to compete with the likes of the rest of the world in heavyweight. You don't. You just don't. And so I want to see that. And if they fight, Jared Anderson is going to get knocked out in 3 rounds. If they fight, Jared Anderson will get knocked out in 3 rounds. Because everything Anderson wants to do, Itauma's better than him did. Especially trying to move and trying to be all elusive and slick. He's going to get destroyed. Because just as bad as you not moving at all, Jared Anderson moves too much at times. The show defense, it's still there. That speed and stuff, it's still there, but also the power lacks immensely. Jared Anderson has no power. Jared Anderson has no punching ability from the standpoint of real destructive nature. He is a He's a fighter that he'll throw shots. He's got a good offensive array. But the damage, it ain't there. When he fought against Charles Martin, what happened? He was the one that was getting his head knocked back. When he fought against Martin McCauley, he was the one getting his head knocked back. And his opponent wasn't getting hurt by the stuff. Even in his last fight, he was not damaging his opponent. His opponent wasn't concerned, oh, this guy is going to hurt me bad. Nearly as much as he's moving around a lot and he's making it hard to hit me from a whole bunch of angles. If you and for Itauma, I guarantee you, if you can't hurt Itauma, you are going to have no chance at beating him. Most likely. And Jerry Anderson's not that guy to answer that question of can Itauma be hurt? Because it ain't going to happen. He's going to get destroyed. He's going to get destroyed in a bad way. In a very bad way. No question about that. But even still, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions still on everything involving the world of boxing and beyond. If you have anything else you want to say. Like I said, last call, because we had 2 hours and 30 minutes. We want to hear from you. If you got anything. I do hope I've made an entertaining show. I do hope you've enjoyed the conversation that we've had at hand. I do hope that you also want to, you want to keep on sticking around and we can keep on having some fun. But if you have nothing else to say, we won't press the issue. We'll end this show and get ready for Thursday afternoon because there's still a whole bunch of stuff to prep for and a whole bunch of discussions that we didn't even get to talk about on our night that we got today. Don't forget, hey, if you want to talk about Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora, we're still in the realm of talking heavyweights. That fight is this week. That fight's this weekend. Don't forget that. The Bronx Bombers got potentially one more outing to show. Are you going to go and continue to thrive? Or are you going off into the sunset with the likes of Derek Chisora and saying, yeah, I'm retired and I'm done and I am out of here in this division and there's no need for me to continue? And he should have retired a long time ago. I'll be completely honest. He should have been gone. Should have been gone. Should have been gone, in my opinion. Should have been gone, in my opinion. But will he be able to stand the test of time one more time? If you want to talk about it. Also, real quick, I forgot to play this one clip, but this was something that was important when it came to going and talking about Terrence Crawford not fighting people, not fighting young talent. When I said that he was avoided, I'm not just making that up. There's some validity to it because he just recently had an interview. I think it's with John McAllister talking about there was a fight with a brother that was just recently fighting this weekend that he wanted to fight early on after he had fought Spence. But not the fighter, but the fighter's team told him no. And I'm going to show you exactly who that is right now. Let me go on and play the clip so you can see exactly what we're talking about. And we'll discuss this more yesterday. We'll probably bring this up more tomorrow. But just real quick, as a teaser, let me show you who exactly was going to fight the likes of Terrence Crawford before their team said no.
Looking, he was on your radar.
I tried to fight Tim Tszyu before he fought.
Was a chance you were looking, he was on your radar.
I tried to fight Tim Tszyu before he fought Fundora.
Yeah.
And they basically was like, nah, they want to go the Fundora route, being that Tim was with PBC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they like, man, he not about to do this to us again. He just beat Spence. So basically they talked him out of it and whatnot. So Fundora get the victory. He got 2 titles. All right, cool. I want to fight Fundora.
Maybe say it again.
They said no. They said, his handler said, nah, we want to fight Spence. Spence is a bigger fight than you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Spence is a bigger fight than me. I just beat him, but okay. Cool. Y'all don't want to fight me. I'm going to fight the number 1 guy in the division, which was Majimov.
Was a chance you were looking.
You see, I'm not making this up when I say that Crawford was avoided. He wanted to fight Tim Tszyu first. Tim Tszyu's people said nah. PBC said nah. This is about Crawford's own words. PBC said nah. We ain't taking that. As you heard, Tennessee lost. Fundora won. He wanted to fight Fundora in terms of Terrence Crawford. PBC and Fundora's team said no. You're not bigger than the Spence fight. Even though the last win I had was against Spence, and I was one of the biggest names in the globe after that fight. I was one of the 4 biggest names out here, one of the 5 biggest names out here. Eking up into, hey man, I'm in the conversation for one of the faces of this sport right now. I'm not there, but I'm in the conversation, and I'm definitely pound number 1. He was, and that was a bigger fight. Errol Spence versus Fundora was a bigger fight than Terrence Crawford versus Fundora, and most likely that fight would have actually happened because we saw Spence and Fundora walk in the ring with each other, and guess what? Spence never fought. Never fought. Went back into going into obscurity yet again, which again, it was with his family. I understand, no issue there, but he never came back when we were all getting excited for, oh my gosh, he's coming back. We could have had Crawford versus Fundora, and it would have actually happened. PBC, all this other people say is great about it, which they've done some good stuff. Not saying they ain't perfect, but they just done some good stuff. For all the stuff that's been going on about it, the worst thing that they've done of recent is what they did to Terrence Crawford. This man ran out of Dodge by the PBC when he wanted to be great and tried to fight people. So again, ending off with the Ryan Garcia conversation. This is why Ryan Garcia, what he says is stupid. Because when he was trying to do that very thing of fighting young guys, they said you're not big enough, only as an excuse to say we don't want our guy to lose to you because he's not ready for you. And Fundora wasn't ready for Crawford. Would have been an interesting thing, 6'5", but even still, Fundora probably would have lost. Not probably, he would have lost. And did the same thing when he tried to fight Tim Sue. Crawford would have beaten Tim Sue. Then he goes and fights Madrimov, who was one of the, I don't know if he was the number 1 guy, but he was one of the top guys at 154 at that point in time. Definitely was seen as, okay, this man 10-0, 9 KOs, champion in 10 fights. This guy's legit. You fight him immediately while he's fresh off a victory. Did what he was supposed to do. And my gosh, still gets held against him. This is the problem that we see with Terrence Crawford. Sadly, that's followed his entire career. And it is the ignorance of perception without understanding the actual reality of what's been going on. That's the fact that when we see Crawford in his career, he's tried to do the very things that you said you wanted him to do. But the business of boxing stopped him. Despite that, he overcame and still became one of the 10 greatest fighters we've seen in history. And it wasn't until he beat Canelo that then everybody was opened up to it, because then it was, okay, this man is the quintessential it guy. And now, sure, we'll let you call him out and fight him. Turn to the PBC specifically, but other fighters as well, and other handlers, managers that also said, we ain't going to give you that fight before. It was never Terrence Crawford's fault that if we talk about his lack of vastness of big names, even though his whole resume is good to great to all time for the names that he does have there. Names that he lacked on there. It's not because he didn't want to fight him. And it's not because he ducked him. And it sure enough ain't because he wouldn't have beat him. It's because this business held him back. It held him back. Mind you, Fundora probably was gung-ho saying, yeah, we'll take that fight. And still, his people said no. His people said no. PBC said no. Al Heyman said no. They said no to Terrence Crawford against Errol Spence for years. Even though that fight should have been happening a long time ago, beforehand. But Crawford's ducking. Crawford ain't about that life. Crawford, it doesn't have any quality names. Do we get why that's the case now? Do we understand now? It was never Crawford that was the problem. It was the business not wanting to give Crawford the opportunity to be great. That is the problem as to why he was not getting the names that Ryan Garcia says that he should have, giving the young fighters a chance to show what they can do. Because when he tried, the people that were in control of the young fighters said, my guy ain't ready. So again, Ryan Garcia, shut up the noise. Because it shouldn't be that you're talking like that. Because this is an outright lie. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But with that being said, we're going to end off this show. It's been a phenomenal show. I've loved being a part of it with you all. We've had a great time on this Tuesday afternoon, but we got to go and get out of here and get ready for Thursday. So we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for listening. We appreciate all of you coming in and joining us on our live stream on today. And hey, we can't wait to be back with you next time out. So with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We thank you for tuning in and being a part of our show. Hopefully, I wasn't boring. Hopefully, I made your day a little bit brighter. And hopefully, you enjoyed our show on today. Please leave a like on the video before you get on out of here. One like makes a world of difference in this show. Hit the hype button on this stream after we end it, and once it uploads fully on YouTube as a by itself video, helps us to also push the algorithm immensely. And please do hit that hype button once this stream does end, because it means the world to me, absolutely, and it helps us out immensely. And also, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Come join the empire. Please keep on going through and hitting the notification bell so you know when we post right here on YouTube. Keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together, and comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked or didn't like about this show so we can keep on improving with everything that we have to make the show even more enjoyable for you, the listener and viewer at home. If you want to support the channel, we got Cash App and PayPal, links down below in the description, super chat, super gifts, stickers, and the like. If you can support the show, it means the world to me, absolutely, and it helps us to pay the bills and helps us to further edify this show to make it bigger, better, and stronger for your viewing and listening pleasure. I can't do this without you all. This show is nothing without you all, and we're going to grow into the hottest show in all this. We already are, but we're going to be recognized on a global scale with you all along for the ride. You all are the driving force of this community and of what we do, and we love you and we appreciate you and we thank you oh so much from the bottom of my heart. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. You all have been absolutely wonderful. Be safe, be blessed, peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We are gonna say, yes, sir. We're gonna see you all on Thursday, same time, same place, same channel. Be safe, be blessed. Salute to you, peace and love, and we out of here. We gonna see you all